Chapter 3285. The Feng people were used to being overbearing in the central region. Basically, no one dared to go against the Feng people. Moreover, the 7 elders of the Feng people had come personally this time. They did not care about Xiao Chen and his group at all. Even among the Feng people, the 7 elders of the Big Dipper had a very high status. They were only second to the 2 patriarchs of the Feng people. However, other people might not dare to offend the Feng people because of their power and influence. However, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun did not have such thoughts. They did not want to have a conflict with the Feng people. However, this did not mean that Xiao Chen and his group were afraid of the Feng people. Those who knew Xiao Chen and Lin Yun well knew that these 2 people were absolutely bold. Perhaps they did not know what fear was in their bones. Originally, they wanted to avoid the Feng people. However, now that they had come to find them, there was no way to avoid them. In that case, it was up to them. How dare you? The Feng people have ordered you to come with me. How dare you refuse? As Lin Yun's voice fell, one of the 7 elders of the Big Dipper shouted angrily. Seeing the 7 elders of the Big Dipper angry, the palace master of the Extreme Path Palace sneered in his heart. This group of people was really bold. They even dared to offend the Feng people. Very well. Did they really think that the Feng people would be afraid of the Emperor Dong's palace? The Feng people could not be compared to the Extreme Path Palace. There was a huge difference between the two. If they offended the Feng people, even the Emperor Dong would not be able to save them. For a moment, the palace master of the Extreme Path Palace felt a sense of satisfaction. This time, Xiao Chen and his group were definitely going to suffer a great loss. However, he did not expect that Xiao Chen and Lin Yun's expressions would remain unchanged even in the face of the 7 elders of the Big Dipper who were already angry. Xiao Chen was not afraid at all as he sneered. Who do you think you are, Feng people? With just one sentence, you want us to go with you? You don't know your place. As soon as he said that, the people of the Extreme Path Palace were stunned. They looked at Xiao Chen speechlessly. Did these people not know how terrifying the Feng people were, or were they really unscrupulous? It should be known that even the palace master of the Extreme Path Palace was polite to the 7 elders of the Big Dipper. Even though this was the Extreme Path Palace's territory, they did not dare to offend the Feng people. However, Xiao Chen and the others did not seem to care about the Phoenix clan at all. Furthermore, they did not seem to be nervous or afraid at all. 7 elders of the Big Dipper Palace's Big Dipper. The old man who spoke earlier immediately shouted angrily. Courting death. The elder threw a palm attack at Xiao Chen as he spoke. Xiao Chen did not back down in the slightest. He pointed with his finger and a beam of sword aura shot out. Shoutily to the point. The 7 elders of the Big Dipper Palace were all peak kings of the Battle Ancestor realm. In addition, they had the bloodline of the Feng people. They were very powerful, but it was impossible for them to take down Xiao Chen. However, Xiao Chen's counterattack was another unforgivable provocation in the eyes of the 7 elders of the Big Dipper. Not only was he disrespectful to the Feng people, he even dared to counterattack. He did not show any respect to the Feng people. Good, good, good. Let's attack together. Cripple them first. The Dipper laughed in anger. Then, he said to the other 6 people beside him. Since Xiao Chen and Lin Yun were not willing to listen to the orders of the Feng people, they could not be blamed. Anyway, the young master only said to bring them back. As for whether they were crippled or not, it did not matter. Hearing this, there was no point in keeping them here. They all nodded in agreement. Si Jian. B************** Si Jian. The 7 Big Dipper elders moved at the same time, attacking Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. Naturally, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun would not cower in the face of the 7 Big Dipper elders' attacks. They immediately charged forward to meet them head-on. As for Long Qing, Lin Yuan and the others, they did not have the ability to fight against Battle Ancestor Realm Kings, let alone Battle Ancestor Realm Kings like the 7 Great Bear Elders. Let's leave first. Before the fight began, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun sent a message to Long Qing, Lin Yuan, and the others at the same time, telling them to take this opportunity to leave the Extreme Doctrine Palace. As for the two of them, they would take the opportunity to leave after they were done stalling for time. When they saw Xiao Chen and his companion fighting against the 7 Big Dipper elders, the expressions of the people from the Extreme Path Palace instantly became very interesting. They had really started fighting. Moreover, it was in their Extreme Dao Palace Master's Plaza. At this moment, in the face of this fierce battle, the rules of the Extreme Path Palace simply didn't exist. Fighting in the palace was a joke. The Extreme Path Palace Master and the other upper echelons of the Extreme Path Palace had no way to stop it. What a joke! On one side was Xiao Chen and Lin Yun, who did not even care about the Feng people, while on the other side was the overbearing 7 Big Dipper elders. Who would care about the words of the Extreme Path Palace? Palace Master, what should we do now? The two sides had only clashed once, but in an instant, the entire hall was almost completely destroyed. Huge holes were torn in the ground. The main hall was on the verge of collapse. It looked like it would collapse at any moment. Hearing the Supreme Elder's question, the Extreme Path Palace Master's lips curled into a smile. What else can we do? Evacuate the disciples. As for them, we don't have to care about them. Xiao Chen. The Extreme Path Palace Master definitely did not want to get involved in the matter between Lin Yun and the Feng people, let alone stop it. Therefore, even though they were in the Extreme Path Palace, the Palace Master could only allow them to fight. Based on this point alone, it was not difficult to see how weak the people of the Extreme Path Palace were. Regardless of the reason, the other party had already acted so recklessly in their territory. As the Palace Master of the Extreme Path Palace, he did not even dare to say anything. Wasn't this a joke? What made them even more speechless was that the group of Grand Elders actually agreed with the Extreme Path Palace Master without the slightest objection. Was this how a great power should behave? On one hand, they kept talking about the sect's reputation. On the other hand, no one dared to step forward and say anything when they really encountered a situation. Anyone with the slightest bit of courage would have at least asked Xiao Chen and the others to get the hell out of the Extreme Path Palace before fighting. This was a very normal thing to do. Unfortunately, the palace lord of the Extreme Path Palace did not have the guts or the courage to do so. Therefore, he could only watch as Xiao Chen and the others fought with the 7 Big Dipper elders in their own territory. Xiao Chen, Lin Yun, and the 7 Big Dipper elders naturally did not care about the loss of the Extreme Path Palace. After all, it had nothing to do with them. They only cared about attacking and did not care about the damage caused by the aftermath of the battle. Mihizi. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Long Qing, Lin Yuan, and the others quickly left the Extreme Path Palace. Although the 7 Big Dipper elders saw this, they did not stop them. Their target was only Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. As for Long Qing, Lin Yuan, and the others, since the young master did not say anything, they naturally did not need to care. Please add, please vote, please recommend. If you like Swordmaster Ba Huang, please bookmark Swordmaster Ba Huang updates the fastest. Chapter 3286. The 7 elders of the Big Dipper sect had a clear goal. The fact that they did not stop Long Qing, Lin Yuan, and the others was good news for Xiao Chen. It was 2 against 7 and each of the 7 elders of the Big Dipper sect was at the peak of the combat ancestor realm. In terms of combat power, they were all above the Palace Master of the Extreme Doctrine Palace. Under such circumstances, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun would not be able to gain any advantage. The truth was indeed so. From the beginning of the battle until now, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun had been suppressed. Knowing that the two of them were no match for the 7 elders of the Big Dipper sect, Xiao Chen asked Long Qing, Lin Yuan, and the others to leave first. Only when they left would Xiao Chen and Lin Yun be able to escape better. To put it bluntly, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun had never thought of fighting to the death with the 7 elders of the Big Dipper sect. They thought that if they fought to the death, there would only be one outcome. They would be captured by the 7 elders or killed on the spot. Xiao Chen and Lin Yun's real plan was to stall the 7 elders for the time being and give Long Qing, Lin Yuan, and the others enough time to leave safely. They would then think of a way to escape. As the battle continued, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun were obviously getting more and more difficult to resist. The palace master of the Extreme Doctrine Palace sneered. This time, they would not be able to escape. He felt an indescribable sense of satisfaction in his heart. It was as if the palace master of the Extreme Doctrine Palace felt very comfortable as long as he saw Xiao Chen and Lin Yun suffer. However, he did not think about it. What did all of this have to do with him? It could even be said that the Extreme Doctrine Palace was the victim of this incident. He looked around. Because of the battle between Xiao Chen and the 7 elders of the Big Dipper sect, more than half of the Extreme Doctrine Palace had been destroyed. However, as the palace master, he did not even dare to let out a fart. As an overlord of a region, it was indeed laughable for the palace master of the Extreme Path Palace to act to such an extent. What was there to be proud of? Calculating the time, it had been an hour since Lin Yuan and the others left in Long Qing. Xiao Chen and Lin Yun looked at each other calmly. After persisting for an hour, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun were under a lot of pressure. It was time to retreat. If they continued to fight, it would be meaningless and they would have no chance of winning. I will remember what happened today. You Feng people are very good. Xiao Chen said coldly as he slashed out dozens of sword qis. All of them were monarch swords, forcing back the 7 Big Dipper elders who had besieged him. In the face of Xiao Chen's sudden outburst, the 4 old men's expressions turned extremely ugly. They had never imagined that Xiao Chen had actually hidden so much of his strength. If Xiao Chen had unleashed such an attack at the beginning, the 4 of them probably wouldn't have had it so easy. Now that Xiao Chen had suddenly unleashed his power, his purpose was self-evident. As soon as he finished speaking, a formation disc appeared in Xiao Chen's hand. This was a teleportation formation disc. It wasn't something too advanced, but it was a very practical life-saving item. Once activated, it could teleport the user to any place thousands of miles away at random. Stop him. With just a glance, it wasn't difficult for the 7 Big Dipper elders to see that Xiao Chen was about to escape. Immediately, the 4 of them rushed toward Xiao Chen, intending to stop him. However, they had been forced to retreat by Xiao Chen. It was obviously too late for the 4 of them to make a move now. They watched helplessly as Xiao Chen activated the formation disc and then disappeared in an instant. On the other side, Lin Yun did the same. She suddenly unleashed her power and forced the 3 elders to retreat. Then, she used the formation disc to escape. Seeing Xiao Chen and Lin Yun disappear before their eyes, the 7 Big Dipper elders' faces turned ugly. D****. One of them cursed angrily. In response, the other one spoke up. They shouldn't have gone far. Let's search for them first. Also, let's report this matter back to the young master. The 7 of them discussed as if nothing had happened. They didn't care about the destruction of the Extreme Path Palace at all. At that moment, the palace master of the Extreme Path Palace and the group of supreme elders came forward, wanting to say something. However, the 7 Big Dipper elders didn't give them the chance to do so. After making their own decisions, they left without even a word of apology. Perhaps in their opinion, the loss of the Extreme Path Palace was nothing. As for the loss of face, it was even more laughable. Since when did the Feng people need to care about the Extreme Path Palace's face? Looking at the messy Extreme Path Palace, the palace master of the Extreme Path Palace wanted to cry but had no tears. This was truly an unexpected disaster. What did the Feng people, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun's matter have to do with the Extreme Path Palace? Why did the Extreme Path Palace have to bear all of this in the end? Palace Master, what should we do now? One of the supreme elders looked at the palace master of the Extreme Path Palace and asked. Hearing that, the palace master of the Extreme Path Palace's expression turned gloomy. However, in the end, he sighed helplessly. Forget it. Get someone to repair it. This was the Extreme Path Palace. When facing the Feng people, they didn't dare to show the slightest bit of dissatisfaction. Even though this matter was caused by the Feng people, the Extreme Path Palace still chose to swallow their anger. They didn't even dare to ask about it. Speaking of which, it was quite pitiful. While the Extreme Path Palace suffered a hidden loss, on the other side, in the Feng people who knew how many tens of thousands of miles away, the 7 Big Dipper elders had already returned with news. In the same fairyland-like place, the handsome young master was lazily leaning against the pavilion. In front of him was the same beautiful woman. However, at this moment, the beautiful woman's expression was somewhat unsightly as she spoke. Truly a bunch of trash. The 7 of them acted together and they actually let them escape? Mother, be careful with your words. The 7 Big Dipper elders' statuses are not low. Even I have no right to command them. This time, the 7 Big Dipper elders only agreed to act because they owed us a favor. After being reminded by her son, the beautiful woman also realized that she had said something wrong. However, she still said stubbornly, "But now that they're gone, what should we do?" Originally, she had thought that the 7 Big Dipper elders would act personally and bring back 2 battle ancestor realm kings. That would be a sure thing and there wouldn't be any accidents. However, who would have thought that they would fail in the end? The 2 of them had escaped. She was somewhat speechless. Compared to the beautiful woman's worry and anxiety, the young man had been extremely shocked the entire time. Or perhaps, he was extremely indifferent. There was even a faint smile on the corner of his mouth. "Mother, you're wrong." "Run? Where could they have run to?" "My son, what do you mean?" Regarding this, the beautiful woman was somewhat puzzled. Then, she saw the young man smiling confidently as if everything was under his control. As for Xiaochen and Lin Yun, they were merely 2 chess pieces in his hands. In the central region, when have the people that the Feng people are looking for ever escaped? When have the people that I want ever failed? Mother, don't worry. They're just 2 clowns. They won't be able to jump around for too long. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. Chapter 3287. The handsome young master chuckled confidently. Hearing his words, the beautiful woman on the other side of the table hesitated for a moment before nodding her head. "My son has grown up, mother won't interfere in this matter." "Mother, don't worry, these 2 people won't be able to escape." Soon, the Feng people issued an order to capture Xiaochen and Lin Yun. On the 10 Directions continent, the 7 Big Dipper elders also began to search for Xiaochen and Lin Yun. However, despite the 7 Big Dipper elders' search, they still couldn't find Xiaochen and Lin Yun's whereabouts. Looks like they've already escaped from the 10 Directions continent. Probably. But now that the young master has issued an arrest warrant, they won't be able to escape from the central region. Although the 7 Big Dipper elders were disappointed that they couldn't capture Xiaochen and Lin Yun, they didn't care too much about it, only feeling a little embarrassed. Now, the young master had sent a message saying that he had issued an arrest warrant and the 7 Big Dipper elders were responsible for it. Naturally, the 7 Big Dipper elders weren't unfamiliar with the Feng people's arrest warrant. They were confident that Xiaochen and Lin Yun wouldn't be able to escape. In fact, this was indeed the case. In the past, the Feng people had issued an arrest warrant and it had never failed. The Feng people's influence in the central region was terrifying, therefore, not many forces dared to ignore the Feng people's arrest warrant. This meant that once the arrest warrant was issued, there would be no place for Xiaochen and Lin Yun to hide in the central region. The Feng people's reaction was fast, but by this time, Xiaochen's group had successfully left the 10 Directions continent. Naturally, it was impossible for them to stay on the 10 Directions continent for long. After successfully leaving, Xiaochen quickly contacted the others with a voice transmission talisman and the group arrived at the agreed location. Seeing that everyone was safe and sound, Xiaochen breathed a sigh of relief. He then took out the space spirit boat and the group quickly left. In the endless space, the space spirit boat cruised leisurely. The central region was huge, especially in space, so the Feng people wouldn't be able to find their whereabouts in a short period of time. However, at that moment, the crowd that had gathered together were sitting in a circle in the ship's cabin. They were drinking and cursing angrily. The Phoenix clan is a little too arrogant. Heh, do you really think that we are pushovers? I didn't think that after so many years, I would be hunted down again. This is quite nostalgic. Are you a masochist? Why are you so emotional when you're being hunted down? Everyone was talking. They were being chased by the Feng people for no reason. With their tempers, they naturally couldn't stand it. Now, they were all waiting for Xiao Chen and Lin Yun's decision. As for Xiao Chen and Lin Yun, although they didn't say anything, with their personalities, they definitely wouldn't let it go so easily. So, what do you think? After taking a sip of wine, Lin Yun looked at Xiao Chen and asked. Hearing this, Xiao Chen's expression did not change, but the corner of his mouth revealed a cold smile. What else can I think? Since I've already been bullied, I naturally can't swallow this humiliation. Heh, but we don't have the ability to contend with the Feng people yet. If we can't deal with those old monsters, can't we deal with those juniors? I can't do it. The Feng people don't come out to gain experience. Besides, I've already sensed the opportunity to break through to a ruler. It shouldn't take long. When I break through to a ruler, I'll personally go to the Feng people to seek justice. For the time being, there was no way to deal with the entire Feng people. However, Xiao Chen did not intend to swallow this humiliation, so his target was the juniors of the Feng people. As for the rules, Xiao Chen did not care at all. Moreover, the Feng people were the ones who broke the rules first. A good person was doing well at home, but trouble came from the sky. Who could tolerate it, let alone Xiao Chen? As for the future, Xiao Chen would definitely not let the Feng people have an easy time. Initially, he did not want to provoke them, but the Feng people had sent themselves to his door, so he could not blame anyone. Moreover, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun both had a premonition that they were going to break through to a ruler, but they still lacked an opportunity and time. Even so, both of them were confident that perhaps after passing through a few cultivation treasures, their cultivations would definitely be able to break through. When the time came, Xiao Chen would definitely kiss the Feng people and let the Feng people know the price of provoking him. Even the Feng people would probably have to be careful when dealing with two rulers. The Feng people could look down on second kings, but they definitely did not dare to look down on two rulers. After all, in the entire Feng people, there were only two rulers. Let's collect some interest first. After we break through to a ruler, we'll settle the score together. Xiao Chen said coldly. There was no way he could swallow the fact that he had suffered an undeserved calamity. Just like that, they traveled in the starry sky. After a few days, they arrived at a continent called the White Rock Continent. The White Rock Continent was also well known in the central region. There was also a cultivation treasures land on this continent, and its reputation was not inferior to that of the Emperor Extremity Mountain. This cultivation treasures land was called the Heavenly White Rock Lake, and it happened to be controlled by the Star-Lord's palace. Since they had come to the White Rock Continent by chance, Xiao Chen and the others naturally had to go to the Heavenly White Rock Lake. Moreover, it should not be a problem for Xiao Chen and the others to enter the Heavenly White Rock Lake. After all, Xiao Chen and the others were members of the Star-Lord's palace. It was reasonable for their members to enter the Heavenly White Rock Lake to cultivate. However, after entering the White Rock Continent, Xiao Chen and the others soon found the Feng people's arrest warrant. The moment they saw the arrest warrant, Long Qing, Lin Yuan, and the others exploded with anger. Were the Feng people really going to fight to the death? They came to capture Xiao Chen and Lin Yun for no reason, and then failed. Now, they even issued an arrest warrant. They clearly did not offend the Feng people, but now, the Feng people were obviously going to fight to the death. They're going too far. Do the Feng people really think that we don't have a temper? Lin Hu angrily scolded. As for Xiao Chen and Lin Yun, they did not say anything, but the coldness in their eyes became more and more intense. Very good. The Feng people really kept challenging their bottom line. Not only did they fail, but they even issued an arrest warrant. If they didn't know, they would think that they had some irreconcilable enmity with the Feng people. Since the Phoenix clan was pushing him so hard, Xiaochen did not have the slightest hesitation. After all, there was already a feud between the two sides, and Xiaochen was not someone who was afraid of trouble. If the Phoenix clan did not want him to have peace, then the Phoenix clan would not have peace either. With cold eyes, Xiaochen and Lin Yun took the lead and walked into the city. This city was not big, but coincidentally, at the same time as Xiaochen and the others entered the city. In front of them, a few young disciples of the Feng people walked over. Seeing this group of Feng people's disciples, Xiaochen's eyes flashed with killing intent. Since things had already reached this point, Xiaochen was not afraid of making things worse. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. Chapter 3288. Enemies are bound to meet on a narrow road. Before Xiaochen could speak, Long Qing said with a cold smile. The Feng people were easy to recognize. Every Feng people was born with a phoenix mark on their forehead. This was the symbol of the Feng people. Hence, Xiaochen and the others could tell the identity of this group of people at a glance. They were all very young and very weak. The strongest among them was only a world lord, while the rest were mostly in the Dao transformation realm. It seemed like they were the disciples of the Feng people who went out to train. Originally, it might have been a little too much to attack a junior. But now, the Phoenix clan had issued a wanted order. In the eyes of Xiaochen and the others, the Feng people wanted to fight to the death with them. Since that was the case, there was no need to be polite. Kill them, Lin Yun said calmly. Hearing this, Lin Yuan, Lin Hu, and the others naturally chose to attack without hesitation. This was still in the city. The disciples of the Feng people did not expect that someone would dare to attack them here. Furthermore, they did not even know who Xiaochen and his group were. Yet, this group of people charged at them without saying a word. They had all broken through to the divine ancestor realm. It was too easy for Lin Yuan, Lin Hu, and the others to deal with the disciples of the Feng people. They killed several people with a casual attack. The disciples of the Feng people could not do anything in the hands of Lin Yuan, Lin Hu, and the others. Divine Ancestor Realm, the sudden change stunned the disciples of the Feng people. When they came back to their senses, the leader said in surprise. They did not expect a group of Divine Ancestor Realm experts to attack them. What was even more ridiculous was that this group of people did not know that they were from the Feng people. In the central region, they dared to kill the disciples of the Feng people in front of so many people. Did these people not want to live anymore? Not to mention that they were only at the Divine Ancestor Realm. Even Battle Ancestor Realm kings would not dare to attack the disciples of the Feng people in public. Did they not want to live anymore? It should be known that the Feng people would never let go of the scars if they attacked the Feng people. This kind of thing was not unprecedented. In the past, those who made a move against the disciples of the Feng people were all hunted down by the experts of the Feng people. In the end, they were all killed by the experts of the Feng people. They didn't know why Xiaochen and the others had made a move. Of course, Lin Yuan and Lin Hu didn't give these people a chance to speak. Since they were already a bunch of dead people, what was the point of knowing so much? Who are you? How dare you kill the disciples of the Feng people? Are you tired of living? Seeing his own disciples being killed one after another, the leader shouted angrily. However, Lin Yuan only coldly replied to his shout. That's right, Feng people. If they weren't the disciples of the Feng people, Lin Yuan and the others wouldn't have made a move. Such a reply was simply inconceivable in the leader's ears. Damn it, did this group of people not know how terrifying the Feng people were? Or were they not afraid of the Feng people at all? How could it be? They were only at the Divine Ancestor Realm. The Feng people could easily kill them. They couldn't understand why Lin Yuan, Lin Hu and the others would suddenly make a move. Even when they died, they still couldn't kill them. In the blink of an eye, more than 20 disciples of the Feng people were killed by Lin Yuan and Lin Hu. Such a commotion naturally attracted many cultivators in the city. At this moment, the surrounding cultivators were all stunned as if they had been struck by lightning. What's going on? Are the Feng people dead? Who are these people who killed so many disciples of the Feng people? They have guts. The surrounding people were all dumbfounded. This group of people was truly fearless. They even dared to kill the disciples of the Feng people. Moreover, they didn't even try to hide it. Why did they make a move in front of so many people? What were they trying to do? In the eyes of ordinary people, even if they had a grudge against the Feng people, they could just make a move secretly. When the time came, the Feng people couldn't find the culprit and couldn't do anything to them. However, killing so many disciples of the Feng people in public was tantamount to declaring war on the Feng people. While everyone was still in shock, the City Lord Mansion's experts also arrived. They passed through the crowd and saw the corpses on the ground. For a moment, they were completely dumbfounded. After a while, he finally turned his attention to Xiao Chen and the others. The White Rock continent was a continent controlled by the Star-Lord's palace. Naturally, the City Lord Mansion was also a member of the Star-Lord's palace. The City Lord Mansion's leader immediately recognized Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. "You are Xiao Chen and Lin Yun?" It couldn't be helped. The arrest warrant of the Feng people had caused an uproar. How could the City Lord not recognize them? Moreover, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun belonged to the Emperor Dong's palace. In the end, they were also members of the Star-Lord's palace. In recent days, it was rumored that the emperors of the Star-Lord's palace were discussing whether they should speak to the Feng people. They wanted to see what grudges there were between the two parties. However, who would have thought that Xiao Chen and Lin Yun would kill so many disciples of the Feng people? With the temper of the Feng people, this could be considered as a complete feud. He also knew the City Lord's identity. He was considered an outer member of the Star-Lord's palace. After all, his cultivation was only at the level of a world lord. Looking at the City Lord's shocked face, Xiao Chen said calmly, "This has nothing to do with you. You can do whatever you want." Xiao Chen had no intention of involving others. Moreover, a mere City Lord couldn't help much. Hearing this, the City Lord was stunned. Then, he said speechlessly, "Sai, let's not talk about this. You guys. Sai, let's not talk about it anymore. Let's hurry up and go to the Star-Lord Hall before the Phoenixes arrive." At the moment, only the Star-Lord's palace could protect Xiao Chen and the others. After all, no matter how strong the Feng people were, they couldn't be a match for the Star-Lord's palace, let alone barge into the Star-Lord's palace. As long as Xiao Chen and the others successfully arrived at the Star-Lord's palace, the Feng people wouldn't be able to do anything. However, in the face of his suggestion, Xiao Chen rejected him without even thinking about it. "It's fine. Since the Feng people want to come, let them come. They couldn't hide. They couldn't hide forever." Xiao Chen and Lin Yun's current thoughts were very simple. They wanted to take revenge crazily and break through to the Emperor's stage as soon as possible. As long as they encountered a disciple of the Phoenixes, they would be killed without any hesitation. After breaking through to become a ruler, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun would make a trip to the Phoenixes without the Phoenixes looking for them. Seeing that Xiao Chen didn't listen to his words at all, the City Lord was a little anxious. They were all members of the Star-Lord's palace, and Xiao Chen and Lin Yun's status was much higher than his. The City Lord naturally didn't want anything to happen to Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. However, before the City Lord could speak, Lin Yun interrupted him. "Thank you for your good intentions, but these are not things that you can interfere in. We will handle them ourselves." After saying that, without waiting for the City Lord to reply, the group strode into the city. As for the corpses all over the ground, they were naturally left to the City Lord to deal with. Please collect, vote, recommend. Chapter 3289. Xiao Chen and his group didn't care about killing the Feng people's disciples at all. They didn't feel that they had caused any trouble. Only the City Lord and his group were left standing on the spot with ugly expressions. After a while, a City Lord's mansion cultivator asked cautiously, "My lord, what should we do now? Let's clean up first. Tell the Feng people what they need to say. What else could they do now?" The city lord definitely didn't dare to offend the Feng people. He could only report the matter truthfully and see what the Star Lord's palace would say. As for Xiaochen and Lin Yun, the city lord looked in the direction where they left and sighed. He didn't say anything else. After staying in the city for a day, Xiaochen and his group also inquired about the Heavenly White Rock Lake. They found out that the Heavenly White Rock Lake wasn't open or closed. As long as they had the permission of the Star Lord's palace, they could enter and cultivate. However, it wasn't easy to enter the Heavenly White Rock Lake. Moreover, the Heavenly White Rock Lake was guarded by an emperor from the Star Lord's palace all year round. After inquiring about this information, Xiaochen and Lin Yun decided to go to the Heavenly White Rock Lake to take a look. They didn't know what kind of conditions were needed to obtain the qualifications to enter the Heavenly White Rock Lake. However, they were all members of the Star Lord's palace. They should go and see the Emperor of the Heavenly White Rock Lake first. Under normal circumstances, as long as the Emperor agreed, there wouldn't be any problems. Therefore, on the second day, Xiaochen and his group rushed to the Heavenly White Rock Lake. At the same time, after a day, the news of the Feng people's disciples being killed by Xiaochen and his group had also spread to the Feng people. At this moment, several battle ancestor realm kings of the Feng people gathered together. The leader of the Feng people, an old man, said in a deep voice. "Everyone knows about the White Rock continent, right?" "Yes, I've heard a little about it." "However, who are Xiaochen and Lin Yun?" "That's right. Why did you suddenly attack the Feng people?" Most of these people did not know the identities of Xiaochen and Lin Yun. After all, the previous series of events were not the intention of the Feng people, but of that young master. Hearing everyone's doubts, the old man in the lead took a deep breath and slowly spoke. Its second young master Feng Yin, he recounted what had happened to everyone present. All the people present were the elders of the Feng people. As a large clan, all the matters of the Feng people were basically handled by the patriarch and the elders. Now that the clan leader was in seclusion, although not all of the clan elders of the Feng people were present, they could make a decision. After hearing what had happened, everyone fell silent for a moment before speaking up. In other words, this matter was initiated by Feng Yin? So what if it was? Xiaochen and Lin Yun dared to kill the disciples of the Feng people. They were courting death. I think so too. No matter what, daring to kill the disciples of the Feng people is a capital offense. That's right. The Feng people will not let this matter go. At first, when they found out that Feng Yin was the one who initiated the matter, everyone was a little surprised. However, they soon forgot all of this. In the eyes of the clan elders of the Feng people, no matter what the reason was, Xiaochen and Lin Yun dared to attack the Feng people. They were courting death. As for Feng Yin, they did not feel that there was anything wrong with him. Since the Feng people asked him to come, then he had no reason to refuse. This was the Feng people. They were extremely overbearing. As the clan elders spoke up, everyone felt that they should immediately send people to the White Rock continent to capture Xiaochen and his group. Hearing everyone's words, the old man in the lead nodded in agreement. Then let's leave it to the 7 Big Dipper elders. Anyway, they have been tracking down the whereabouts of this group of people. Very good. With the 7 Big Dipper elders, it should be easy to capture them. That's right. Capture these people and refine their souls. Let them know the consequences of killing the disciples of the Feng people. Yes. The Feng people never thought of compromising. They would not compromise with kings like Xiaochen and Lin Yun. Anyway, they killed the disciples of the Feng people. They deserved to die. As for who was right and who was wrong, it did not matter at all. In an instant, the matter between Xiaochen and the Feng people directly rose to the level of the entire Feng people. If it was only Feng Yin who wanted to deal with Xiaochen and Lin Yun before, then the entire Feng people wanted to deal with Xiaochen and Lin Yun now. The conflict between the two sides was once again planned. It was estimated that there was no room for negotiation now. After the elders made their decision, the 7 Big Dipper elders also quickly received the order to immediately make a trip to the White Rock continent. In Feng Yin's residence, he also received the news. At this moment, the beautiful woman looked at him and said with some displeasure, "This group of ants actually dared to take revenge. This is normal. After all, even a rabbit will bite when it is anxious. But now that the disciples of the clan were killed because of our matter, will the elders blame you?" The beautiful woman's worry was not unreasonable. After all, it was Feng Yin who started this matter. If it were not for Feng Yin, those disciples of the Feng people would not have been taken revenge by Xiao Chen and the others. If this matter caused the elders to be displeased, it would not be a good thing. However, hearing this, Feng Yin still said without any change in his expression, "That won't happen. How can a few ordinary disciples compare to me? The elders will not blame me for this." Feng Yin, on the other hand, was very confident. In his opinion, Xiao Chen and Lin Yan had done something that couldn't be any more wrong. They took revenge on the Feng people and killed the disciples of the Feng people. This had completely angered the Feng people. Now that they were faced with the anger of the entire Feng people, they had no chance at all. The Feng people were completely enraged, and the palace of the Star Lord had also received the news. At this moment, Black Matriarch finally rushed back from the western region. As soon as she returned, she heard about the matter between Xiao Chen and the Feng people. Black Matriarch's expression instantly turned ugly. They really don't make people worry at all. They just caused trouble in the Extreme Path Palace, and now they have offended the Feng people? Black Matriarch was a little speechless. How could Xiao Chen and Lin Yan be so good at causing trouble? However, after hearing her words, an emperor of the Star-Lord Palace below smiled bitterly and said, "Actually, this matter really can't be blamed on Xiao Chen and the others. It was the Feng people who started it first." Then, this emperor also truthfully told Black Matriarch what had happened. After hearing this emperor's words, Black Matriarch's expression became even more gloomy. These Feng people are really getting more and more out of hand. Indeed, from the development of the matter, it was the Feng people who took the initiative to find Xiao Chen and the others. Xiao Chen and the others could be said to have done nothing wrong. However, the Feng people would not be reasonable. Moreover, at this time, Black Matriarch did not want Xiao Chen and the others to cause trouble with the Feng people. After pondering for a moment, Black Matriarch said coldly, "Send someone to negotiate with the Feng people. Please collect, monthly vote, recommend." Chapter 3290. At this time, Black Matriarch did not want to see any more turmoil in the Fire Phoenix Galaxy. Now that the Star-Lord and Elder Masterblade were not here, the entire Star-Lord's palace was naturally under Black Matriarch's control. However, after hearing this, the Emperor beside her said with a bitter smile, "I'm afraid the Feng people won't agree." Now that Xiao Chen and the others had killed the Feng people's disciples, even if the palace of the Star-Lord stepped in, with the Feng people's character, they probably would not let this matter go unless the Star-Lord personally stepped in. Hearing this, Black Matriarch's expression became even more unsightly, and then she said coldly, "Send someone to take a look first." The Feng people's status in the central region was somewhat special. To be honest, Black Matriarch also had a headache over this. It did not mean that the Feng people had the ability to contend with the palace of the Star-Lord. To put it bluntly, although the Feng people were very strong, they were not truly the top in the central region. Other than the palace of the Star-Lord, there were at least 2 or 3 forces that could firmly suppress the Feng people. After all, the Feng people only had 2 emperors in charge, but the palace of the Star-Lord had no less than 10 emperors on the surface. Therefore, the palace of the Star-Lord was completely capable of directly destroying the Feng people, but they could not do so. This was the most troublesome point, and also the reason why the Feng people were so rampant. Alright. There was no other way, the Emperor could only agree. At the same time, Xiao Chen and the others had already arrived at the heavenly White Rock Lake. They were directly in the sky above the White Rock continent, passing through thick clouds before arriving at the heavenly White Rock Lake. A palace floated 10,000 meters in the sky, looking extremely magical. They slowly landed outside the palace. Just as Xiao Chen and the others arrived, the palace door opened directly. Seeing this, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun both smiled slightly. Looks like they've discovered us. Let's go in and take a look. This palace was guarded by a ruler from the palace of the Star Lord, so it was not strange that he knew about their appearance. Moreover, Xiao Chen and his group did not deliberately hide their whereabouts. Everyone was a member of the Temple of the Star Lord. If they still wanted to be sneaky, they might end up making a fool of themselves. Walking all the way into the main hall, a middle-aged man sat on the main seat in the center of the hall. There was no one else around him. The middle-aged man spoke first when he saw Xiao Chen and the others walking over. Tisk, TSK, TSK. After causing such a huge disaster, instead of running away, you dare to come to the heavenly White Rock Lake? It was obvious that the middle-aged man knew about the Feng people's disciple being killed. With regards to this, Xiao Chen simply nodded in agreement. Even if we run, we can still run to the top. Ha, you're right. Do you want to break through to become a ruler and then find trouble with the Feng people? The middle-aged man directly said what Xiao Chen and the others were thinking. With their current strength, they were naturally not enough to contend with the Feng people. However, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun had already touched the threshold of becoming rulers. As long as they successfully broke through to become rulers, the Feng people would naturally not dare to make a move at will. After all, the Feng people only had 2 rulers. Once Xiao Chen and Lin Yun broke through, in terms of top-notch combat strength, the Feng people would not be at an advantage. Moreover, once the Feng people did not have the ability to kill Xiao Chen and Lin Yun, it would be a disaster for the entire Feng people. Just the thought of offending 2 rulers and not being able to deal with it was a terrifying thing. Who knew when a disaster would befall them? Senior, since you know why we're here, there's no need for me to explain. Xiao Chen and the others naturally wanted to enter the heavenly White Rock Lake. Now, it all depended on the attitude of the middle-aged man in front of them. As long as he nodded, there would be no problem. Seeing that Xiao Chen had no intention of beating around the bush, the middle-aged man laughed loudly. After laughing, he spoke slowly. I can let you enter the heavenly White Rock Lake and even protect you during the time you enter. Even if the Feng people send people over, I can help you stop them. As soon as the middle-aged man said this, Xiao Chen frowned slightly. The reason for this was that the middle-aged man's attitude was very strange. Not only did he agree to let them enter the heavenly White Rock Lake without any requirements, but he could even protect them. In this case, he must have a purpose. It was impossible for him to do this for no reason. Therefore, Xiao Chen asked directly without hiding anything. In this case, what do we need to do for you? Ha, you're indeed smart. Hearing Xiao Chen's question, the middle-aged man laughed loudly. Xiao Chen was very sensible, so the middle-aged man did not hide anything. After you break through to become a ruler, just help me kill a person. Can we kill someone that even you can't kill? In this regard, Xiao Chen did not agree directly. After all, the middle-aged man was an emperor. Someone that even he could not kill was definitely a troublesome existence. Seeing that Xiao Chen was so vigilant, the middle-aged man did not care. He said with a faint smile as if he was sure that Xiao Chen would not reject him. Don't be anxious. I didn't kill him not because I don't have the ability, but because of my identity. Since I'm the ruler of the palace of the Star Lord, I naturally can't act as I wish most of the time. However, you won't reject the person I want to kill because he's the clan leader of the Feng people. How about it? You have a feud with the Feng people. Now that you've agreed to my request, you're just going with the flow. Kill the clan leader of the Feng people? Hearing this, Xiao Chen fell into silence. Indeed, if it was the Feng people, it would not be a difficult choice for Xiao Chen. After all, even without the middle-aged man's request, Xiao Chen would still have to go to the Feng people to seek an explanation in the future. After glancing at Lin Yun and seeing that Lin Yun did not object, Xiao Chen thought for a moment and nodded in agreement. After all, this matter was not bad for him and the others. Okay, I promise you. Okay, but it's just empty words. How about this? Make a heavenly oath that after you break through to become a ruler, you'll definitely kill the clan leader of the Feng people for me. Seeing Xiao Chen nod, the middle-aged man did not believe him immediately. Instead, he asked Xiao Chen and Lin Yun to make a heavenly oath. In response, Xiao Chen frowned slightly, but he quickly said with a smile, "Sure. But at the same time, do you also have to make a heavenly oath?" "Sure." Since it was a heavenly oath, it was naturally impossible for him to be the only one. The middle-aged man also needed to make a heavenly oath. In response, the middle-aged man simply nodded in agreement. He did not hesitate at all. Just as Xiao Chen and the others were discussing with the middle-aged man, in the palace of the Star Lord, Black Matriarch also received a reply from the Feng people. The people sent by the Star Lord did not see the higher-ups of the Feng people at all and were directly rejected at the door. Please collect, vote, recommend. Chapter 3291. Even the people from the Star-Lord's palace were nowhere to be seen. Hearing this, the expression on Black Matriarch's face became even more unsightly. The Feng people had been arrogant for too long, but the Star-Lord's palace had no way to attack the Feng people. What should we do now? The ruler at the side also said with an ugly expression at this moment. In response, Black Matriarch replied snappily. I know what to do. She was indeed quite angry at the Feng people. However, after calming down, Black Matriarch had no choice but to think about how to solve this matter. Putting aside the Feng people, based on Black Matriarch's understanding of Xiao Chen and Lin Yun, these two fellows were not easy to deal with. Being targeted and chased down for no reason, with Xiao Chen and Lin Yun's personalities, it was impossible for them to let it go just like that. However, these two people's talents were also extraordinarily high. Although they were only kings of the War Ancestor realm, who knew when they would break through to the Emperor realm. Once Xiao Chen and Lin Yun broke through to the Emperor realm, things would be completely different. At that time, the two of them would definitely have to go to the Feng people. At this juncture, Black Matriarch naturally did not want any conflict between the two sides. After all, no matter what the outcome was, it would be the Fire Phoenix Galaxy that would be injured. And right now, there was still the Azure Dragon Galaxy eyeing them covetously. Since the Feng people were not easy to deal with, she could only start with Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. After thinking for a moment, Black Matriarch asked. Where are Xiao Chen and Lin Yun now? They have already arrived at the Heavenly White Rock Lake. Heavenly White Rock Lake? The Star-Lord's palace naturally knew the whereabouts of Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. Firstly, they were worried that the Feng people would harm the two of them. The Star-Lord's palace naturally could not just watch the two of them be killed by the Feng people. Secondly, they were also worried that Xiao Chen and Lin Yun would do something extreme and make the situation worse. To put it bluntly, both sides were worrisome. Hearing that Xiao Chen and Lin Yun had already arrived at the Heavenly White Rock Lake, Black Matriarch's expression was calm at first, but soon, she seemed to have thought of something and looked at the Emperor's palace. Who is in charge of guarding the Heavenly White Rock Lake? It can't be that guy Tian Tai, right? That's right, it is Tian Tai. Speaking of Tian Tai, Black Granny's face turned even uglier. Good heavens, it really was him. Tian Tian's Tian was Tian Tian's emperor to the Emperor's palace to be seen. Originally, this was not a big deal, but the problem was that Tian Tai and the Phoenixes had a deep enmity. Before Tian Tai broke through to become a ruler, his wife was slandered by the Phoenixes. After that, Tian Tai became an emperor and insisted on taking revenge on the Feng people. If it were not for the Star-Lord's palace stopping him, he would have gone to their door long ago. Even so, everyone in the Star-Lord's palace knew that Tian Tai's hatred for the Feng people was as deep as the sea. Now that the three of them had met, the result was obvious. Go to the Heavenly White Rock Lake immediately. No matter what method you use, you must bring Xiao Chen and the others back. They absolutely could not let Xiao Chen and the others be with Tian Tai. This would only make the situation more difficult to control. Hearing Black Matriarch's words, the Emperor nodded and disappeared from the hall. After the Emperor left, Black Matriarch shook her head helplessly. What was going on? At the moment, the Star-Lord and Elder Masterby were not in the central region, and the situation in the western region was getting more and more tense. Who knew when the Azure Dragon Galaxy would make a move? However, at this time, the central region also made people worry and caused so much trouble. What a group of troublemakers. Black Matriarch had seen Xiao Chen and Lin Yun's ability to cause trouble, but in the end, this matter could not be blamed on them. After all, it was the Feng people who took the initiative to cause trouble. Just as Black Matriarch was busy, at the Heavenly White Rock Lake, after settling the matter with Tian Tai, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun directly entered the Heavenly White Rock Lake. As for Long Qing, Lin Yuan, and the others, because their cultivation had not reached the War Ancestor realm, they naturally could not enter, but Tian Tai also arranged a good secret cultivation room for them. These secret rooms were unique to the Heavenly White Rock Lake and contained some of the Heavenly White Rock Lake's energy. It was also beneficial to Long Qing, Lin Yuan, and the others. During the cultivation period, Tian Tai said that he would protect Xiao Chen and the others. Even if the Feng people sent people over, they would definitely not disturb Xiao Chen and the others. Xiao Chen and the others only needed to cultivate at ease. No matter how arrogant the Feng people were, they would definitely not dare to openly go against the palace of the Star-Lord. With Tian Tai's guarantee, Xiao Chen and the others naturally had no worries. The two of them directly entered the Heavenly White Rock Lake. Located above the clouds, a pool of water seemed to grow in the clouds. This was the Heavenly White Rock Lake. The pool water was milky white and emitted bursts of fragrance. Moreover, one could feel that there was an extremely large amount of law origin power in it. It seems that this place is not inferior to the Emperor Extremity Mountain. Yes. Indeed, no more nonsense, let's begin. With that, the two of them jumped into the pool together. The Heavenly White Rock Lake was not big, but it could accommodate Xiao Chen and Lin Yun's cultivation. There was no problem at all. In fact, this time, Tian Tai had relaxed the conditions. Otherwise, how could it be so easy to enter the Heavenly White Rock Lake? In the central region, there were many people who wanted to enter the Heavenly White Rock Lake to cultivate, but in the end, there were only a few people who could fulfill their wish. Tian Tai did this because he could not directly attack the Feng people, and he could not let go of the hatred in his heart. Therefore, Tian Tai hoped that Xiao Chen and Lin Yun would become his sabers to avenge him and kill the patriarch of the Feng people. It could be considered that he was using Xiao Chen and Lin Yun, but the patriarch had also made it clear and offered sufficient conditions in exchange, which happened to be what Xiao Chen and Lin Yun needed. Sitting cross-legged in the Heavenly White Rock Lake, strands of terrifying law origin power continuously surged into Xiao Chen and Lin Yun's bodies. The law origin power in the Heavenly White Rock Lake was even denser than that of the Emperor Extremity Mountain, but it did not have the heavenly thunderbolts to temper the body. Nevertheless, what Xiao Chen and Lin Yun needed right now was this law origin power. This was because only with enough law origin power could Xiao Chen and Lin Yun successfully break through to become rulers and continue to break through. Without wasting any time, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun quickly fell into cultivation. Their cultivations were also slowly increasing. They did not know if they could successfully break through to become rulers this time. Nevertheless, regardless of whether they could succeed or not, with the help of the Heavenly White Rock Lake, they could definitely take another step forward. Even if they could not break through, they were not far away. Just as Xiao Chen and Lin Yun began to cultivate, outside the Heavenly White Rock Lake, the ruler of the Star-Lord's palace also arrived before the Feng people. When he saw Tian Tai, the ruler said somewhat helplessly, "Where are they?" "Black Granny asked me to bring them back to the Star-Lord's palace." "Brother Tian Tai, don't make things difficult for me. Please collect, monthly vote, recommend." End of this chapter. Chapter 3292. Where are they? Black Granny asked me to bring them back to the Star-Lord's palace. Brother Tian Tai, don't make things difficult for me. Facing Tian Tai, this emperor was really helpless. They were both emperors of the Star-Lord's palace, so the two of them were naturally very familiar with each other. To be honest, Tiantai was definitely top-notch in all aspects, and his personality was also very easygoing. However, there was a prerequisite, and that was that he could not involve the Feng people. Once the Feng people were involved, Tiantai seemed to have completely changed into a different person, and nothing could enter his ears. Just like now, when he heard his words, Tiantai only smiled and said, "You mean Xiao Chen and the others? They've already gone to the Heavenly White Rock Lake." "What? You let them enter the Heavenly White Rock Lake? What's wrong with that? We're all from the Star-Lord's palace, and I see that the two of them are about to break through to the Emperor realm. Is it strange for them to go to the Heavenly White Rock Lake?" Tiantai's words sounded reasonable at first, but knowing his personality, this matter was definitely not that simple. Looking at Tiantai helplessly, the Emperor took a deep breath and asked, "Tell me, what did you say to Xiao Chen and the others?" He did not believe that Tiantai would let Xiao Chen and the others enter the Heavenly White Rock Lake just like that, even if they were all from the Star-Lord's palace. Tiantai did not try to hide this. He smiled and spoke without mincing his words. "It's nothing, I just asked them to do me a favor." "Help? What kind of help?" "Kill a person." "Who?" "The leader of the Feng people." Good Lord, hearing this, the Emperor was immediately stunned on the spot. This was nothing, he was speechless. However, this was also in line with Tiantai's personality. As long as this guy had the chance, he would definitely not let the Feng people go. Now that Xiao Chen and the others were in conflict with the Feng people, it was understandable for Tiantai to do this. However, this way, wouldn't it be a mess? Immediately, the Emperor refused to give up and tried to persuade him. "Brother Tiantai, are you trying to harm them? Xiao Chen and Lin Yan are only at the War Ancestor realm, how do you expect them to kill the patriarch of the Feng people? Let me bring these two back to the Star-Lord's palace. This way, the Feng people won't dare to do anything." It doesn't matter. Even if they can't do it now, it doesn't mean that they won't be able to do it in the future. I see that the two of them have already touched the threshold of rulers. I think it won't be long before they break through. By then, they'll naturally be able to kill the chief of the Feng people. Do you know that if you do that, the entire world will be in chaos? Don't you know the consequences of a war between sovereigns? So what? Furthermore, there's no turning back now. We've already sworn the Heavenly Tao Oath. After hearing Tiantai say that they had already sworn an oath to the heavens, the ruler was speechless. This was blocking all paths of retreat. Once one swore an oath to the heavens, if one did not keep it, it would be equivalent to being entangled with karma. If it was serious, one would die, and one's cultivation would regress, becoming a cripple. He did not expect Tiantai to be so ruthless as to even take out an oath to the heavens. Great, what should he do now? If he forcefully brought Xiao Chen and the others back, it would be equivalent to destroying Xiao Chen and the others. However, if he allowed them to go to the Feng people, wouldn't it be chaotic? When Tiantai saw how speechless the ruler was, he said calmly, "Don't worry about it. Is there a need for that? It's just the chief of the Feng people. It's fine if you kill him. It's easy for you to say that. Sigh, forget it. I'll tell Black Granny about this first." Now that things had developed to this point, it was better to let Black Granny make the decision. It was up to him to choose. In any case, there were only two choices. One was to stop Xiao Chen and the others and let them be entangled with karma and become cripples from then on. The other was to let Xiao Chen and the others kill the chief of the Feng people and complete the oath to the heavens. However, no matter what choice he made, he felt a little helpless. As soon as he finished speaking, the ruler immediately took out a voice transmission talisman to contact Black Granny to see how she would solve the problem. At the same time, outside the Heavenly White Rock Lake, the 7 Big Dipper elders of the Feng people had also arrived. It was not too difficult for the Feng people to track down a person's news, so they soon learned that Xiao Chen and the others had come to the Heavenly White Rock Lake. After learning the news, the 7 Big Dipper elders rushed over without hesitation. Sensing the aura of the 7 Big Dipper elders, Tiantai said with a sneer. "A guest is here. I'll go out and take a look. You can do whatever you want." After saying that, Tiantai directly disappeared from the main hall. As for the ruler, he snorted coldly. Obviously, he was dissatisfied. Outside the main hall, Tiantai's figure appeared out of thin air in front of the 7 Big Dipper elders. Looking at Tiantai, the 7 Big Dipper elders bowed respectfully. "Greetings, Senior Tiantai." No matter how arrogant they were, the 7 Big Dipper elders knew who the person in front of them was. He was an existence that was not weaker than their own great ancestor. Of course, the relationship between the Feng people and Tiantai had always been like fire and water. However, in front of him, the necessary etiquette still had to be shown. Facing the 7 Big Dipper elders' bow, Tiantai asked indifferently. The 7 Big Dipper elders of the Feng people. What are you doing here?" Everyone knew that Tiantai was asking the obvious, but the 7 Big Dipper elders still forced themselves to answer respectfully. "To be honest with you, Senior, we're here for Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. The two of them slaughtered the disciples of the Feng people for no reason. We're also under orders to arrest them." "Oh, I've never seen the world. Xiao Chen and Lin Yun, you've come to the wrong place. Get lost." Who would have thought that Tiantai would directly dismiss them with a single sentence? Hearing this, the 7 Big Dipper elders' faces darkened. Was he treating them like 3-year-old children? The news from the Feng people clearly stated that Xiao Chen and the others had come to the Heavenly White Lake. Was he going to let them go with a single sentence? However, the 7 Big Dipper elders still knew the severity of the situation. Moreover, even if the 7 of them joined forces, they would not be able to gain any advantage against Tiantai. Therefore, they definitely could not attack at this time. Moreover, the Heavenly White Lake was managed by the Star-Lord's palace. Attacking here was equivalent to directly provoking the Star-Lord's palace. Taking a deep breath and forcibly suppressing the anger in his heart, one of the 7 Big Dipper elders said in a deep voice. "Senior, please don't joke with us. Xiao Chen and Lin Yun are people that our great ancestor personally ordered to be arrested. I hope that Senior can make things convenient for us." What? Are you trying to scare me with your 2 mixed-haired birds? Not to mention that those 2 mixed-haired birds didn't come. Even if they did, what can they do? I've already said that I've never seen Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. That means I've never seen them. If you still want to pester me, don't blame me for being ruthless. Tiantai, Hearing Tiantai's words, the 7 Big Dipper elders could no longer hold themselves back. After all, their great ancestor had actually become 2 mixed-haired birds in Tiantai's mouth. Who could endure that? Please add me to your collection. Please recommend me. Chapter 3293. Tiantai's attitude toward the Feng people was not strange. However, he had openly insulted the Feng people's patriarch, which made the 7 Big Dipper elders furious. To be honest, for so many years, Tiantai and the Feng people could not stand each other and wanted to kill each other. Unfortunately, due to various reasons, everyone restrained themselves. Tiantai could not attack the Feng people because of his identity as a member of the Star-Lord's palace. The Feng people also did not dare to attack Tiantai because of his identity. Given the Phoenix's foundation, even if Tiantai was a ruler, if the Phoenixes really made up their mind, 2 great ancestors would attack at the same time. In addition to other methods, they would have a chance to kill Tiantai. However, the Feng people did not do so. The reason was very simple. It was because the Feng people did not dare to kill Tiantai. No matter what, Tiantai was an emperor of the Star-Lord's palace. Once he was killed, the Star-Lord's palace would definitely be furious. An emperor and a king were completely different. If they killed a king of the Star-Lord's palace, the Feng people might be able to deal with it. If they gave some compensation, the Star-Lord's palace would not hold on to it. After all, although a king was also very strong, it was not fundamental to the Star-Lord's palace. However, an emperor was different. If they killed an emperor, even the Feng people would find it difficult to explain. The Star-Lord's palace would definitely not let it go so easily. It was precisely because of this that Tian Tai and the Feng people had formed an inexplicable tacit understanding over the years. However, now, Tian Tai insisted on protecting Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. This was undoubtedly going against the Feng people again. Facing the furious 7 Big Dipper elders, Tian Tai did not care at all and sneered. "What? Do you want to attack me? If you don't want to die, you can try." Tian Tai could not wait for the 7 Big Dipper elders to attack him because once they attacked first, Tian Tai would have enough reason to kill them here. When the time came, even if the Star-Lord asked, Tian Tai would have enough reasons to stand firm. How could he not know what Tian Tai was thinking? Moreover, with this person's character, as long as he was given a sufficient excuse, he would not be polite to the Feng people. If he could kill them, he would not let them go. Over the years, Tian Tai had used this method to kill many of the Feng people's disciples. Every time, Tian Tai would have sufficient reasons to leave the Feng people speechless. They were furious, but there was nothing they could do. The 7 Big Dipper elders were sure that if they chose to attack now, the 7 of them would become corpses in the next second. Knowing the consequences, the 7 Big Dipper elders could only suppress their anger and snort coldly. Tian Tai, you will regret this. Trash, scram if you don't dare to fight." Tian Tai did not hold back at all. As for the 7 Great Bear elders, they could only leave with their tails between their legs. Although the 7 of them were not weak, it also depended on who they were facing. Facing Tian Tai, who was considered a top-ranked powerhouse among the many rulers, even if the 7 of them joined forces, they would not have any chance of winning. After shouting at the 7 of them to leave, Tian Tai returned to the main hall with a calm expression. At the same time, seeing Tian Tai return, the ruler said speechlessly, "Do you think it's not chaotic enough now? These are 2 different things. Don't mix them up. You. Forget it. Black Granny asked me to tell you that no matter what, you can't personally attack the Feng people. As for Xiao Chen and Lin Yun, you can do whatever you want." This was also a helpless action because Black Granny knew very well that once the Feng people were involved, even if it was her order, Tian Tai might not necessarily listen to her. In that case, it was better to control the situation within a controllable range. As long as Tian Tai did not personally attack the Feng people, it would be fine. Of course, there was also the most important problem, which was the Heavenly Oath. Xiao Chen and Lin Yun had already sworn the Heavenly Oath. Stopping them at this time would be equivalent to destroying them. Only God knew how conflicted Black Granny was at the moment. The 2 of them were really troublesome. Hearing Black Granny's order, Tian Tai did not hesitate much and nodded in response. "Okay, I won't attack the Feng people. That's enough. All right, I'll go back now. Be careful and don't cause any more trouble. The situation in the western region isn't very good. I reckon that it won't be long before you and I have to leave." The war was getting closer. As the number 1 battlefield between the 2 galaxies, the western region was definitely the most important. Although the Fire Phoenix Galaxy had already deployed 7 or 8 rulers in the western region, this was obviously not enough. Once the war started, the Azure Dragon Galaxy would definitely do their best. Therefore, it was understandable that more rulers would be transferred to the western region. Regarding this, Tian Tai was very obedient. He only hated the Feng people, but he had nothing to say about the Fire Phoenix Galaxy. As a ruler, he naturally had to stand up at this moment of life and death. Tian Tai was very clear about this. "Okay, when the time comes, you and I will leave together." Hearing this, the ruler's expression became slightly better. The 7 Big Dipper elders were blocked by Tian Tai. The news was naturally sent back to the Feng people as soon as possible. At this moment, among the Feng people, the elders gathered again. Most of them had gloomy expressions. It's this Tian Tai again. Is he determined to go against the Feng people? This guy is simply detestable. Does he really think that the Feng people can't do anything to him? Damn it, he's the one who jumps out to get in the way every time. At the mention of Tian Tai, the elders were clearly filled with righteous indignation. Who was the most hateful person in the eyes of the Feng people? Tian Tai was definitely at the top of the list because as long as he had the chance, he would definitely cause trouble for the Feng people. In any case, if the Feng people were unhappy, he would feel good. There was no need for any reason at all. He would just diss them. Now that Tian Tai had stood up to protect Xiao Chen and Lin Yun, how could the elders of the Feng people not be angry? However, it was obviously impossible to deal with Tian Tai without using the Great Ancestor. Once the Great Ancestor made a move, what would the Hall of the Star-Lord do? They would definitely not stand by and watch. After scolding, the elders were also in a dilemma. Tian Tai was indeed difficult to deal with. If possible, the Feng people really wanted to find a chance to kill him. It's impossible to attack Tian Tai now. The Star-Lord won't allow it either. Don't forget that the Star-Lord has already sent people here. But if we don't deal with Tian Tai, how can we capture Xiao Chen and Lin Yun? Are we going to let them go just like that? If that's the case, where will the Feng people's face go? They definitely couldn't let Xiao Chen and Lin Yun go. The Feng people couldn't give up just because Tian Tai stopped them. How would this look to outsiders? Wouldn't it prove that the Feng people were afraid of Tian Tai? This was absolutely impossible. Therefore, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun must be captured. They couldn't let the two of them go. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. Chapter 3294. They could not kill Tian Tai, especially at this time. However, if they did not kill Tian Tai, how could they deal with Xiao Chen and Lin Yun? Many elders of the Feng people were arguing with each other. In the end, the leading elder coughed lightly and interrupted the argument. First elder? This elder was the first elder of the Feng people. He had a high status among the Feng people. Everyone looked at him. Under the gaze of the elders, the first elder said faintly, "Ignore Tian Tai for now. As for Xiao Chen and Lin Yun, I don't believe that they can hide in the heavenly White Rock Lake forever." Since Tian Tai wanted to protect Xiao Chen and Lin Yun, the Feng people would not take action in the heavenly White Rock Lake. After Xiao Chen and the others left the heavenly White Rock Lake, Tian Tai could not follow them all the way. Tian Tai's task was to guard the heavenly White Rock Lake. He could not leave at will. Hearing the first elder's words, everyone nodded repeatedly. That's right. The first elder's words are reasonable. I don't believe that Tian Tai can follow them all the way. That's right. Let the 7 Big Dipper elders guard outside the heavenly White Rock Lake. Once Xiao Chen and the others leave, take them down immediately. Good idea. It's settled then. Everyone spoke one after another. The matter was settled like this. The 7 Big Dipper elders were quickly restored by the clan. The 7 of them and other experts of the Feng people were to guard near the heavenly White Rock Lake. Once Xiao Chen and Lin Yun left, they would take action. Time passed day by day. Naturally, many experts of the Feng people were stationed outside the heavenly White Rock Lake. They were led by the 7 Big Dipper elders. Tian Tai naturally knew about this. As an emperor, the 7 Big Dipper elders and the Feng people could not escape under the cover of his divine sense. However, Tian Tai did not take action against these people. He understood what the Feng people were thinking. However, Tian Tai was sneering in his heart at this time. How could the person he wanted to protect be caught so easily? Feng people had underestimated him. At this time, Tian Tai naturally could not let Xiao Chen and the others be taken down by the Feng people. Otherwise, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun could not break through to become rulers. How could they help him kill the Feng people's patriarch? Neither side seemed to be in a hurry. They persisted in the heavenly White Rock Lake for half a month. Xiao Chen and Lin Yun both came out of seclusion, but the Feng people still didn't leave. You're quite patient. Hey! On this day, Xiaochen, Lin Yun, and Tiantai sat together. Tiantai sneered. It seemed that the Feng people would not give up until they achieved their goal. As soon as he finished speaking, Tiantai looked at Xiaochen and Lin Yun and chuckled. It seems that the two of you are still one step away from breaking through. That's right. After cultivating in seclusion in the heavenly white rock lake for half a month, Xiaochen and Lin Yun were indeed one step away from breaking through to become rulers. Unfortunately, the last step was also the most difficult step. No matter how hard Xiaochen and Lin Yun worked, they could not break through at all. Hearing Tiantai's words, Lin Yun said with a bitter smile. I've disappointed you, senior. I'm indeed one step away from breaking through, but I still can't find a way. Haha, if it's so easy to break through to become a ruler, there wouldn't be so many kings stuck here. It's fine. There's a place that can definitely help the two of you break through. Senior, please speak. The Evil Abyss Cave. The Evil Abyss Cave was a dead land in the central region. It was called a dead land, but it was also a treasure land because it also had the opportunity to break through to become a ruler. However, compared to the Emperor Extremity Mountain and the Heavenly White Rock Lake, the Evil Abyss Cave was very dangerous. There were no restrictions in this place, and anyone could enter. However, even a king of the War Ancestor realm had a high chance of dying inside. There were countless ghost spirits inside, and the powerful ones were even comparable to King of the War Ancestor realm. The danger was great, but the opportunity was also great. As long as Xiaochen and Lin Yun could safely come out of the Evil Abyss Cave, they would definitely be able to break through to the Monarch realm. As soon as he finished speaking, Tiantai looked at the two of them with a smile. The Evil Abyss Cave is very dangerous. Even a king of the War Ancestor realm will have a slim chance of survival if they enter. However, in the midst of danger, there are also real opportunities. To tell you the truth, I also broke through to become a ruler in the Evil Abyss Cave. That place is not inferior to any of the treasure lands that you know. In fact, it's even better. However, I don't know if the two of you have the guts to enter. To be honest, in the central region, everyone knew that the Evil Abyss Cave contained great opportunities. Especially for King of the War Ancestor realm, there were very few people who dared to enter the Evil Abyss Cave. This was because it was indeed too dangerous. Ordinary King of the War Ancestor realm had almost no chance of survival if they entered. Even a peak King of the War Ancestor realm would have a slim chance of survival if they entered. Therefore, very few people had the guts to enter the Evil Abyss Cave. At this moment, after hearing Tiantai's words, Xiaochen and Lin Yun looked at each other and nodded. The Evil Abyss Cave is a good choice. The two of us are willing to go. That's right. If you want to break through to the Emperor realm, how can you cower? This old man didn't misjudge the two of you. Seeing Xiaochen and Lin Yun nod, Tiantai said with a smile. A hint of admiration flashed through his eyes. If Xiaochen and Lin Yun didn't even dare to enter the Evil Abyss Cave, Tiantai would probably be disappointed. Because how could such a person kill the patriarch of the Feng people? However, at this moment, Xiaochen and Lin Yun clearly didn't disappoint Tiantai. Alright, in a while, this old man will personally open a spatial passage and send you out of the Heavenly White Rock Lake. As for the other children, don't go with you. Their cultivation bases are too low. Even if they go to the Evil Abyss Cave, they'll just be courting death. Moreover, if they follow you, they'll have to deal with the threat of the Feng people all the way up the mountain. Let them stay with me. With me around, there's no need to worry about any danger. In order to let Xiaochen and Lin Yun break through to the Emperor realm in peace, Tiantai did his best. He even didn't hesitate to protect Long Qing, Lin Yuan, and the others. Xiaochen and Lin Yun naturally had no reason to refuse. Firstly, cultivating in the Heavenly White Rock Lake would definitely benefit Long Qing, Lin Yuan, and the others greatly. Secondly, it was safer to cultivate here. Moreover, Xiaochen and Lin Yun were more convenient. Even if the Feng people wanted to catch them, it would not be easy. Subsequently, Xiaochen, Lin Yun, and Long Qing, Lin Yuan and Lin Yuan chatted for a while. They only told each other some things and did not waste too much time. 2 hours later, Xiaochen and Lin Yun were ready to leave. Long Qing, Lin Yuan, and the others looked at them worriedly. Tian Tai said with a smile. "The next time we meet, I hope you'll give me a surprise." "Go ahead. The Evil Abyss Cave is where your opportunity to break through to the Emperor realm lies. Whether you can seize it or not depends on you. Please collect it, get monthly votes, and recommend it." Chapter 3295. Tian Tai personally opened up an interspatial passage. With the cultivation of a ruler, he personally opened this interspatial passage. The martial artists of the Feng people in the outside world could not detect it at all, including the 7 Big Dipper elders. Unless the 2 great ancestors of the Feng people personally came. However, at the moment, it was impossible for the 2 mixed-haired birds to personally make a move. In addition, the palace of the Star Lord would not let such a thing happen. Therefore, Xiaochen and Lin Yun left the heavenly white rock lake without anyone noticing. As for Long Qing, Lin Yuan, and the others, they continued to stay in the lake to cultivate. This was something that Tian Tai could do for Xiaochen and Yi Shiwen, and it would completely solve their worries. They directly left the White Rock continent through the interspatial passage and appeared in an uninhabited starry sky. After taking out the spatial spirit boat, Xiaochen and the others headed in the direction of the Earth Abyss's evil den. The Earth Abyss's evil den did not belong to any continent. It was more like a black hole in the starry sky. It was said that entering the Earth Abyss's evil den was like entering another world. If it was not necessary, even a ruler would rarely enter the Earth Abyss's evil den. A warlord realm king would have a slim chance of survival in the Earth Abyss's evil den, but a ruler would also be in danger. From this, it could be seen how dangerous the Earth Abyss's evil den was. However, the Earth Abyss's evil den was also very strange. The ghost spirits inside could not come out as if they were blocked by some kind of power. It was also because of this that the Earth Abyss's evil den did not pose any threat to the Fire Phoenix galaxy. Otherwise, with the abilities of those ghost spirits, if they could freely enter and leave the Fire Phoenix galaxy, they would have caused chaos in the galaxy long ago. Along the way, Xiaochen and Lin Yun did not encounter any danger. After all, the Feng people probably did not know that they had left the heavenly White Rock Lake. Due to the distance between the heavenly White Rock Lake and the Earth Abyss's evil den, Xiaochen and Lin Yun were still sailing in the starry sky for several days. Along the way, they encountered many spatial spirit boats and starships, but they did not know each other, so they just brushed past each other. On this day, the spatial spirit boat that Xiaochen and Lin Yun were riding passed by a small continent. Although it was called a continent, it was actually more like a star island. It was not large, just like a small island in the middle of a vast ocean. However, when they saw this small island, Xiaochen and Lin Yun's eyes flashed with a strange light. Feng people's territory? From afar, they could see that the island was filled with Feng people's flags. Through their auras, Xiaochen and Lin Yun also discovered that there were many Feng people's martial artists on the island. However, these cultivators of the Feng people were not very strong. The strongest among them were only 2 divine ancestor realm cultivators. He didn't expect to meet the Feng people here. It seems like this island was very important to the Feng people. Otherwise, the Feng people wouldn't have sent so many people to guard it. I see. After carefully sensing for a while, Xiaochen and Lin Yun quickly came to a realization. No wonder there were so many Feng people here. It turned out that there was actually a spiritual stone vein on this star island. After knowing this, Xiaochen and Lin Yun immediately had an idea. The 2 of them naturally didn't have any ideas about this spiritual stone vein. After all, they couldn't take it away, let alone leave it here. However, if they destroyed this spiritual stone vein, they didn't know if the Feng people would go crazy. They probably would. In short, as long as the Feng people were unhappy, Xiaochen and Lin Yun would be very comfortable. Moreover, with their strength, it wouldn't be too difficult to deal with the Feng people on this island. Since we've met, there's nothing more to say, Xiaochen said with a cold smile. Lin Yun didn't refuse. The Feng people had forced them again and again. Xiaochen and Lin Yun were naturally unhappy. Given their characters, if they were unhappy, they would definitely take revenge. Immediately, the two of them put away the spatial spirit boat. With a flash, they instantly appeared above the Star Island. They didn't hide their auras. Therefore, when Xiaochen and Lin Yun appeared, they had already attracted the attention of many Feng people. Among them, the two Saint Ancestor Realm martial artists appeared immediately. At first, they didn't recognize Xiaochen and Lin Yun. However, when they sensed that the two of them were Battle Ancestor Realm kings, the two Feng people's martial artists said with a solemn expression, "Who are you? This is the Feng people's territory. If you have nothing to do, leave quickly." Still as domineering as before. However, you Feng people should be familiar with the two of us, right? In response, Xiaochen said with a cold smile. Two Saint Ancestor Realm martial artists actually dared to scold two Battle Ancestor Realm kings. Moreover, they even asked the other party to leave quickly. This was indeed arrogant. Apart from the Feng people, probably no other force would dare to be so arrogant. Hearing Xiaochen's words, the two Saint Ancestor Realm Feng people frowned slightly. Then, they looked at Xiaochen and Lin Yun with shining eyes. The more they looked, the more familiar they looked. Then, one of them cried out in alarm. "It's you, Xiaochen, Lin Yun." The matter that the Feng people wanted Xiaochen and Lin Yun was no secret. As the disciples of the Feng people, the two of them had naturally seen the portraits of Xiaochen and Lin Yun. In an instant, after confirming the identities of Xiaochen and Lin Yun, the two Feng people panicked. At present, the relationship between the Feng people and Xiaochen's group was needless to say. Now that Xiaochen and Lin Yun had appeared here, it was definitely not a good thing. Two Battle Ancestor Realm kings were definitely not people they could resist. Moreover, the reputation of the Feng people could not suppress the two people in front of them. Otherwise, how could Xiaochen and Lin Yun dare to kill the disciples of the Feng people? In an instant, they felt that they had come with ill intentions. When Xiaochen saw that his identity had been recognized, he did not beat around the bush and spoke bluntly with a smile. "You Feng people have given us so much. This time, it's time for us to return the favor." "What do you mean?" As he spoke, two terrifying auras instantly erupted from Xiaochen and Lin Yun. In the blink of an eye, they enveloped the entire Star Island. Under the envelopment of these two oppressive forces, countless cultivators within were crushed to death. Those Feng people with low cultivation could not even withstand the auras of Xiaochen and Lin Yun. Seeing Xiaochen and Lin Yun kill without saying anything, the two Feng people's Saint Ancestor Realm cultivators panicked. Were the two of them planning to slaughter everyone on this Star Island? How dare they? Did they really want to fight to the death with the Feng people? They were shocked and furious, but the two of them did not hesitate at all. They immediately turned around and wanted to escape. What a joke! With their strength, they were naturally no match for Xiaochen and Lin Yun. What were they waiting for? Seeing the two of them turn around and escape, Xiaochen was not surprised at all. He was not in a hurry either. He only spoke indifferently. "Do you think you can leave just because you want to? Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations." Chapter 3296. Xiaochen sneered as he looked at the two Saint Ancestor Realm martial artists from the Feng people. "You want to leave now? What have you been doing before? Moreover, aren't the Feng people arrogant? Those who don't know would really think that they are fearless. It turns out that they will be afraid when they are about to die." Xiaochen and Lin Yun were not worried or afraid at all about killing the disciples of the Feng people. Anyway, both sides were already in such a state. Killing a few people would not change anything. Therefore, Xiaochen and the others did not care about killing the disciples of the Feng people. Xiaochen did not make any movements, but his figure disappeared directly. In the next second, he appeared in front of the two Saint Ancestor Realm martial artists from the Feng people, completely blocking their way. Seeing Xiaochen appear in front of them, the two men's expressions became more and more unsightly. One of them suppressed the fear in his heart and shouted sternly, "How dare you! The two of you are dead. The Feng people will never let you go." Facing Xiaochen, the two men seemed to be able to hide the fear in their hearts by shouting angrily. However, Xiaochen smiled noncommittally. "Is that so? However, the two of you are going to die now. As for the future, the two of you will not be able to see it." While speaking, Xiaochen did not hesitate and directly attacked. He casually pointed a few fingers and sword lights instantly enveloped the two men. Under Xiaochen's attack, the two men did not have the slightest strength to fight back and were killed instantly. With the two Saint Ancestor Realm martial artists in the lead killed, the remaining disciples of the Feng people naturally could not escape. None of them escaped. They were all slaughtered by Xiaochen and Lin Yun. In less than a quarter of an hour, there was no sign of life on the small star island. Only a strong smell of blood drifted with the wind. Even though Xiaochen and Lin Yun had personally caused such a massacre, their expressions did not change in the slightest. To the two of them, this was nothing. Those who were able to break through to the War Ancestor Realm were all stained with blood. For a massacre of this scale, it was simply not enough to make Xiaochen and Lin Yun change their expressions in the slightest. Since he was killed, this star island naturally couldn't be left behind. Xiaochen and Lin Yun attacked and completely destroyed this star island. At the same time, the spirit vein on the star island was naturally unable to avoid the destruction of the entire star island. Everything ended. It was as if this star island had never appeared. As for Xiaochen and Lin Yun, they continued on their journey as if nothing had happened. Speaking of which, these Feng people could only blame themselves for being unlucky. They just had to appear on the path of Xiaochen and Lin Yun. As for the Feng people, Xiaochen and Lin Yun had nothing to say. If they encountered them, they would kill them. It was impossible for them to show any mercy. After a few more days, Xiaochen and Lin Yun finally successfully arrived at the entrance of the Earth Abyss Evil Cave. Although the Earth Abyss Evil Cave was extremely famous in the central region, everyone knew that it contained great opportunities. However, unlike other cultivation treasures, there was no one at the entrance of the Earth Abyss Evil Cave. After all, opportunities were opportunities. How many people could truly obtain them? Because of this, only a few people dared to enter the Earth Abyss Evil Cave. In this way, the Earth Abyss Evil Cave was naturally not as lively as other cultivation treasures. After putting away the spatial spirit boat, they looked at the entrance that was like a black hole in front of them. As long as they passed through this place, they would be able to enter the Earth Abyss Evil Cave. In the eyes of Xiaochen and Lin Yun, this entrance was like a bloody mouth that was ferociously waiting for its prey to enter. Tian Tai didn't hide this from the two of them as he knew the dangers of entering the Earth Abyss Evil Cave. Before he set off, he had already told the two of them everything he knew. Now that they had truly arrived at the entrance of the Earth Abyss Evil Cave, Xiaochen and Lin Yun did not know what to say. They instinctively felt the danger. It was as if once they took a step forward, they would die. There was no other way. "Let's go." After looking at each other, Xiaochen and Lin Yun did not choose to retreat. Since they were already here, how could they retreat now? Moreover, this Earth Abyss Evil Cave was indeed an opportunity for them to break through to become rulers. As long as they could persevere, they would be able to take that step and successfully break through to become rulers. Taking a step forward, they quickly disappeared into the Earth Abyss Evil Cave. Just as Xiaochen and Lin Yun entered the Earth Abyss Evil Cave, the Feng people on the other side naturally found out about what had happened on the Star Island after a few days of investigation. In fact, the moment the Star Island appeared, the Feng people already knew about it. After all, among the Feng people, almost every direct disciple had a life token. Once they encountered an accident outside, their life tokens would shatter, and the Feng people would naturally find out right away. However, the Phoenix clan did not know who it was that had attacked them. That person had killed all the Phoenix Clan disciples on an entire starry island and even destroyed the entire starry island, as well as the Spirit Stone mine. After sending people to investigate on the spot, they gradually found out the truth. After finding out that it was Xiao Chen and Lin Yun who had done it again, one could imagine how the Feng people felt. At this moment, the elders of the Feng people gathered once again. This was the umpteenth time they had gathered together. In any case, during this period of time, the elders of the Feng people were extremely busy. Every time, it was all because of Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. These two names seemed to have become the nightmare of the Feng people. At this moment, the elders were even more furious. Damn it, it's these two bastards again. Weren't they at the Heavenly White Rock Lake? What's wrong with the 7 Big Dipper elders? Why are there so many people outside the Heavenly White Rock Lake? They can't even keep an eye on them. They don't even know that they have left. Oh, we can't blame them. It must be Qi Tiantai's doing. Without him, how could Lin Yun and Xiao Chen leave so secretly? Damn it, it's not the first time that these two people have attacked the Feng people. This time, they even destroyed an entire star island and the spirit or vein. Are they really going to fight to the death with the Feng people? No matter what, we can't let these two people go. We must kill them. The elders were filled with righteous indignation. What kind of joke was this? After so many years, when had the Feng people suffered such a big loss? The disciples of the Feng people who were outside were killed one after another. This was something that the Feng people absolutely couldn't tolerate. Their killing intent towards Xiao Chen and Lin Yun rose again at this moment. The Feng people had already decided that no matter what, they must punish Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. Otherwise, the Feng people would lose face. The elders shouted angrily. Their decision was also unanimous. They couldn't give Xiao Chen and Lin Yun any more chances. They mobilized all their forces to kill these two people. They couldn't give them any more chances to jump around. Please add, please vote, please recommend. End of this chapter. Chapter 3297. Xiao Chen and Lin Yun had killed the Feng people one after another. This had undoubtedly infuriated the Feng people. The elders of the Feng people would not stop until they killed Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. However, they still had a problem to consider. Where had Xiao Chen and Lin Yun gone? There was nothing they could do. Because of Tiantai, the Feng people had lost track of Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. Many elders guessed. In the end, someone could not help but speak. From the Heavenly White Rock Lake to the Star Island, there's only one final destination. At this point, the elder paused, and the expressions of everyone present changed. Clearly, they understood what he meant. After a while, someone sucked in a breath of cold air. The Evil Abyss Cave? That's right. Judging from the trajectories of Xiao Chen and Lin Yun, the place they were most likely to go to was the Evil Abyss Cave. At the mention of this place, many elders of the Feng people fell silent. Although they were in the Middle Territory and were all overbearing, they were also afraid of the Evil Abyss Cave. Furthermore, to be honest, even though all the clan elders present had already reached the peak of the War Ancestor realm, to be honest, these old fellows might not even dare to go to the Earth Abyss Evil Cave. After all, the Evil Abyss Cave did not care if you were from the Feng people or not. Once you entered, you would most likely die. Therefore, after guessing that Xiao Chen and Lin Yun might have gone to the Evil Abyss Cave, many elders hesitated. They did not dare to go to the Evil Abyss Cave to capture Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. Of course, everyone present could guess why Xiao Chen and Lin Yun went to the Evil Abyss Cave. It was definitely to break through to the ruler realm. If it was not for this reason, who would take the risk to enter such a dangerous place like the Evil Abyss Cave? For a moment, no one knew what to do. In the end, it was the Great Elder who broke the silence. The Underground Abyss Evil Cavern. We'll go stand guard outside the Underground Abyss Evil Cavern. If those two bastards die inside, then so be it. If they dare to come out, we'll immediately take them down. It was impossible for them to enter the Earth Abyss, but they could block the entrance. there was only one entrance to the entire Earth Abyss Evil Cave. Therefore, as long as this place was blocked, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun would definitely be unable to escape. Hearing the Great Elder's words, everyone nodded in agreement. As long as they did not enter the evil abyss, everything was fine. This time, we absolutely can't let those two escape. So, who here is willing to go personally? Seeing that there were no objections, the first elder asked. In order to ensure that nothing goes wrong, the elders should personally take action. Hearing the first elder's words, 3 elders immediately stood out. Not only that, but they also had nothing to be afraid of in the abyss. Seeing this, the first elder nodded and said calmly, "All right, I'll leave this matter to the 3 of you. As for the 7 Big Dipper elders, let them go to the Earth Abyss Evil Cavern too." With the 3 elders and the 7 Big Dipper elders, they did not believe that they could let Xiao Chen and the others escape. The Feng people had made up their minds to kill Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. At this moment, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun had entered the Earth Abyss Evil Cavern through the entrance. It was as if in an instant, the 2 of them had appeared in a brand new world. The sky was blood red, and the air was filled with a dense blood aura. Moreover, the spiritual chi here was extremely thin. On the contrary, the power of laws was very rich, and the origin of laws could be seen everywhere. No wonder the Earth Abyss Evil Cavern was of great help to breaking through to become a ruler. However, in the eyes of Xiao Chen and Lin Yun, such a world was more like a world that had been abandoned by the heavens. This was because this world was too dark. They could not describe what it was like. In any case, there was no life at all, and it made them feel extremely uncomfortable. "This is the Earth Abyss Evil Cavern," Xiao Chen muttered. Xiao Chen murmured softly. However, as soon as Xiao Chen finished speaking, roars were suddenly heard from the front. Xiao Chen and Lin Yun looked toward the source of the sound and immediately saw a scene that made them frown. Not far in front of them, several strange-looking monsters were gnawing on a corpse. That corpse looked exactly the same as them. In other words, these things were gnawing on their own kind. Such a bloody scene made Xiao Chen and Lin Yun frown slightly. After all, this scene was really difficult for them to adapt to. What kind of creature could do such a thing as gnawing on its own kind? It was so disgusting. Just as Xiao Chen and Lin Yun were looking at these monsters, the monsters also noticed them. There were still bloodstains at the corners of their mouths. Of course, this was not their blood, but the blood left behind by the gnawing from before. These are the ghost spirits that Tiantai mentioned, right? They're really a group of inhumane beasts. Facing the gaze of several ghost spirits, Lin Yun only said a few words indifferently. To be honest, these ghost spirits were indeed disgusting. However, just as Lin Yun finished speaking, these ghost spirits had already rushed forward with a roar. Ghost spirits had spiritual intelligence, but they were extremely murderous. Most of the time, they acted according to instinct. This was also the main reason why the Earth Abyss was so dangerous. It was because the ghost spirits did not care who you were at all. As long as you appeared in their sight, the first thing the ghost spirits thought of was how to eat you. Seeing several ghost spirits rushing towards the 2 of them, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun attacked without changing their expressions. The strength of these ghost spirits was not strong. They were only equivalent to Dao Transformation Realm martial artists. Thinking about it, it was impossible for there to be ghost spirits that were too powerful around the entrance. Therefore, it was almost effortless for Xiao Chen and Lin Yun to kill these ghost spirits. "Let's go!" After killing these ghost spirits, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun did not stay here. After all, this was only the edge of the Earth Abyss. There were no opportunities here that Xiao Chen and Lin Yun wanted. If they wanted to break through to become rulers, they had to go deep into the Earth Abyss. As they went deeper, the danger would naturally become greater. After all, there were ghost spirits that were comparable to rulers in the Earth Abyss. According to Tiantai, if Xiao Chen and Lin Yun wanted to break through to become rulers in the Earth Abyss, they had to enter the territory of rulers. This was because that was the center of the Earth Abyss. Just thinking about it made them feel that it was dangerous. Ghost spirits that were comparable to rulers were not something that Xiao Chen and Lin Yun could deal with at the moment. However, they had no other choice. If they wanted to break through to become rulers, they had to take risks. They walked all the way to the depths of the earth abyss. Not long after they walked, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun were blocked by a group of ghost spirits. There were hundreds of them. Please collect, monthly vote, recommend. Chapter 3298. There were so many ghost spirits in the earth abyss that it could be said to be innumerable. Moreover, these ghost spirits were also very sensitive. Therefore, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun were soon surrounded by hundreds of ghost spirits. Facing the hundreds of ghost spirits in front of them, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun were not too surprised. After all, the two of them had already guessed such a thing before entering the earth abyss. However, what Xiao Chen did not expect was that the leading ghost spirit did not choose to attack immediately after surrounding the two of them. Instead, it spoke coldly. Humans? Heh, it's really fortunate that I haven't seen them for decades. Ghost spirits could speak. Regarding this, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun were slightly stunned. These ghost spirits did not seem to have low intelligence. In fact, they did not seem to be weaker than humans. Seeing that Xiao Chen and Lin Yun did not reply, the leading ghost spirit did not care and continued to speak. This earth abyss is a tomb for you humans. It's ridiculous that you actually dared to come in. However, since that's the case, the two of you can stay here. His voice was filled with dense killing intent. These ghost spirits obviously did not have any good impression of humans. Without giving Xiao Chen and Lin Yun any chance to react, they directly rushed in front of Xiao Chen and Lin Yun in a flash. Seeing this, the other ghost spirits in the surroundings also made their moves, and a great battle was about to break out. Ghost spirits like to eat humans. This was what Tiantai had told Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. Therefore, when encountering ghost spirits, there was no other choice but to kill them directly. Xiao Chen and Lin Yun naturally would not show mercy when both sides fought. With their full strength, the hundreds of ghost spirits did not last for too long. After all, these ghost spirits were not strong. In the eyes of Xiao Chen and Lin Yun, they were almost no different from ants. The leading ghost spirit had some strength, but it was only at the divine ancestor realm. It was completely incomparable to Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. However, even in the face of such a huge difference in strength, these ghost spirits were completely unafraid of death when they fought. There was not a trace of fear in them. They did not even feel the slightest bit of cowardice. Xiao Chen didn't know if this was because ghost spirits were born to kill or if there was some other reason. Right now, the only thing the two of them could do was to kill all of these ghost spirits. The battle did not last long. In less than an hour, the group of ghost spirits were all killed, including the leader. After the battle ended, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun did not consume too much energy. Their faces were not red and they were not out of breath. However, at this moment, both of them looked to the left at the same time. Lin Yun said coldly, "Since you're already here, why are you so afraid?" Along with the voice, a woman in black suddenly appeared in the originally empty space. This was also a ghost spirit, because her appearance was exactly the same as a ghost spirit. It was easy to distinguish ghost spirits because every ghost spirit had red bloodlines all over its body, including its face. These bloodlines were called ghost tattoos. It was said that they were present when ghost spirits were born. Moreover, the more ghost tattoos a ghost spirit had, the stronger it would be. This was the case for the woman in front of them. Moreover, her aura had reached the king level of the war ancestor realm. Not long after entering the Earth Abyss's evil cave, they actually encountered a king-level ghost spirit of the war ancestor realm. Xiao Chen and Lin Yun did not know if they should say that they were lucky or too unlucky. This was because according to Tiantai, ghost spirits of the war ancestor realm, as well as ghost spirits of the emperor realm, lived in the core area of the Earth Abyss's evil cave. They rarely appeared in the periphery. However, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun just had to meet them here. Facing Xiao Chen and Lin Yun, this ghost spirit did not show the slightest bit of fear. Its eyes were filled with killing intent as it spoke coldly. Humans, you shouldn't have entered the Earth Abyss's evil cave. This is not a place you can come to. Its words were filled with hatred. For some reason, these ghost spirits seemed to hate humans very much. Could it be that they did not want humans to enter the Earth Abyss's evil cave? After a short period of contact with the ghost spirits, Xiaochen and Lin Yan also discovered that there seemed to be two completely different races among the ghost spirits. One was the few that they had seen when they first entered the Earth Abyss's evil cave. They ate their own kind and did not seem to have high intelligence. They were extremely murderous. Moreover, the appearance of these ghost spirits was also very different from the woman in front of them. These ghost spirits did not have ghost tattoos on their bodies. Their skin was dark, and they gave off a disgusting feeling at first glance. The second type was the ghost spirits of the woman in front of them. They could communicate with humans and had intelligence that was not inferior to humans. They were completely different from the first type. However, apart from the difference in intelligence, the aura on their bodies was exactly the same. There was no difference at all. This made Xiaochen and Lin Yan curious. Why were these two types of ghost spirits so different? Could it be that there were racial divisions among the ghost spirits? Xiaochen looked calmly at the woman in front of him and replied. There is something we need in the Earth Abyss's evil cave, and we came here with no ill intentions. Since they could communicate, Xiaochen also wanted to try. After all, it was naturally a good thing if they could be on good terms with the ghost spirits. Xiaochen and the others could cultivate better in the Earth Abyss's evil cave. However, the woman did not seem to sense Xiaochen's good intentions at all. Or rather, she instinctively had an extremely deep hatred for humans in her heart. This hatred made the woman involuntarily want to kill humans whenever she saw them. Therefore, after hearing Xiaochen's words, the killing intent in the woman's eyes did not decrease. Instead, it continued to increase. No ill intentions? What a joke. Since you've come to this Earth Abyss's evil cave, the two of you don't have to leave. As she spoke, the woman chose to attack. It could be clearly felt that her hatred for humans was bone deep. She did not care about what Xiaochen said at all. Facing this woman's attack, Xiaochen was puzzled. He did not know why these ghost spirits hated humans so much. Could it be because they were born like this? Or was it because of some other reason? However, these ghost spirits had intelligence that was not inferior to humans. It should not be like this. However, now was not the time to think about this. Seeing that the woman was attacking the two of them, Xiaochen and Lin Yan naturally could not allow themselves to be captured. They immediately chose to counterattack. Although this woman had the strength of a king of the War Ancestor realm, she was not a threat to Xiaochen and Lin Yan with her strength alone. This woman had no chance of winning in a one-on-one battle, let alone 2 against 1. However, before they fought, Xiaochen said to Lin Yan, "Don't kill her first. Capture her first. Please collect, please vote, please recommend." Chapter 3299. Xiaochen was somewhat interested in this woman, or rather, he was somewhat interested in these ghosts with intelligence. Moreover, in Xiaochen's heart, there was actually an indescribable feeling that he didn't know how to explain for a moment. Therefore, Xiaochen didn't plan to kill this woman. Instead, he wanted to capture her first to confirm some of his thoughts. Hearing Xiaochen's words, Lin Yan naturally wouldn't say anything. To him, there was no difference whether he killed or captured her alive. Although capturing her alive would definitely be more difficult than killing her, there wasn't much of a difference. With the two of them working together, it wasn't too difficult to capture this woman. The 3 of them quickly fought. It could be seen that the woman hated humans very much. Even though it was the first time she saw Xiaochen and Lin Yan, she attacked them crazily as if she was facing her mortal enemies. This kind of hatred wasn't just directed at Xiaochen and Lin Yan, it was directed at the entire human race. He really didn't know why this woman hated humans so much. However, as they fought, the strange feeling in Xiaochen's heart became stronger and stronger. He didn't notice it before, but now, as the woman attacked, Xiaochen felt that the woman had a very familiar feeling. This wasn't an aura, but a feeling similar to bloodline power. That's right, Xiaochen knew where he had seen bloodline power similar to this woman's, but he couldn't remember it at the moment. But this was the Earth Abyss's evil cave, and the ghosts here actually had bloodline power that he had come into contact with before. Wasn't this strange? Vaguely, Xiaochen felt that this Earth Abyss's evil cave wasn't as simple as it seemed on the surface. Perhaps there was some secret that he didn't know. Just as Xiaochen, Lin Yun, and this woman were fighting, Black Matriarch personally rushed over from the heavenly white cliff lake. At this moment, in the main hall, Tian Tai and Black Matriarch looked at each other. It was obvious that Black Matriarch's expression was very ugly, and she was extremely angry at Tian Tai's attitude. She snorted coldly. "You, what exactly do you want to do?" "Black Matriarch, what do you mean?" "I did as you said and didn't do anything to the Feng people." Hearing this, Tian Tai replied innocently. However, Black Matriarch didn't care about his words at all. Instead, she directly berated him. "What you're doing now is probably even more overboard than directly attacking the Feng people. You actually allowed Xiaochen and Xiaochen to enter the evil abyss. Don't tell me you don't know what kind of place that is. The only reason Black Matriarch came here was because Xiaochen and Lin Yun had gone to the abyss evil cave. Who would have thought that Tian Tai would have the guts to allow Xiaochen and Yi Shiwen to enter the underground abyss? Was he trying to make things go out of control?" Hearing Black Matron's words, Tian Tai had already thought of an excuse and replied unhurriedly. "What's wrong with the underground abyss? There's indeed an opportunity for them to break through to become rulers. Is there a problem?" Tian Tai was still quibbling here, but now, Black Matron had no way to stop him. It was impossible for her to personally enter the underground abyss to bring the two of them out. Due to her identity, it was impossible for Black Matriarch to enter the underground abyss. It could even be said that no ruler in the Fire Phoenix Galaxy could enter the underground abyss. It was not that they could not enter, but once they entered, the situation would further deteriorate, and at that time, it would be even harder to control. Thinking of this, Black Matriarch glared at Tian Tai. If it were not for the fact that this fellow was a ruler, was very powerful, and had contributed greatly to the Hall of the Star Lord, Black Matriarch would have taught him a lesson long ago. From their conversation, it was not difficult to tell that Xiaochen and Lin Yun had gone to the underground abyss. Tian Tai had his own ideas. He was the one who guided the two of them to the underground abyss. Moreover, the underground abyss was definitely not as simple as Tian Tai had said before. There were definitely many secrets inside. And these secrets even made Black Matriarch feel helpless and fearful. "Sir Star-Lord will be back soon. When the time comes, you can go and explain to Sir Star-Lord yourself." After saying that, Black Matriarch left in a flash. Seeing Black Matriarch disappear, a cold killing intent flashed across Tian Tai's eyes. That's right. He had deliberately let Xiaochen and Lin Yun go to the underground abyss because he wanted to take revenge. After enduring for so many years, Tian Tai had never let go of the hatred in his heart. After all, if your entire family was killed, would you choose to forgive? No human would be able to do that. Therefore, Tian Tai had to make the Feng people pay the price. This price was not something that could be achieved by just being the chief of the Feng people. From the moment he saw Xiaochen and the others, Tian Tai already had a plan in his heart. So far, everything was going according to his plan. To put it bluntly, Tian Tai had indeed used Xiaochen and Lin Yun as tools for his revenge. However, there was one thing that Tian Tai did not lie to them. In the underground abyss, there was an opportunity to break through to become a ruler. Moreover, this opportunity was far from what other cultivation treasures could compare to. The premise was that Xiaochen and Lin Yun had to be alive to enjoy it. "Xiaochen, Lin Yun, I've let you down. When everything is over, you can punish me if you want to." Tian Tai knew how it felt to be used. Not to mention Xiaochen and Lin Yun, even if it were anyone else, they would probably be angry. Xiaochen and Lin Yun did not know about the matter at the heavenly White Rock Lake. At this moment, in the underground abyss, after a fierce battle, the woman could not hold on any longer. Many wounds appeared on her body. Although they did not hurt her vital parts, they had indeed consumed a lot of her energy. This was also done on purpose by Xiaochen and Lin Yun. They did not intend to kill this woman, so they naturally would not hurt her vital parts. It was difficult for her to hold on. Xiaochen and Lin Yun also seized the opportunity and rushed toward the woman from both sides. Facing the siege of Xiaochen and Lin Yun, the woman knew that she was no match for them. However, the hatred in her eyes grew stronger, and the aura around her became chaotic. Lin Yun frowned and couldn't help cursing when he sensed that. What a lunatic. This woman clearly wanted to self-destruct on the spot and drag Xiaochen and Lin Yun down with her. It was the first time they had met, but the woman was able to do this. This showed the hatred in her heart. Regarding this, Lin Yun and Xiaochen sped up. What a joke, the two of them naturally could not let the woman self-destruct here. The self-destruction of a war ancestor realm king. At such a close distance, even Xiaochen and Lin Yun did not have the confidence to block it. Moreover, after fighting for so long, Xiaochen and Lin Yun wanted to capture this woman alive. It was even more impossible for her to succeed. Please collect, please vote, please recommend. Chapter 3300. Xiaochen and Lin Yun were extremely fast and appeared beside the woman in a flash. At the same time, they reached out and pressed their palms on the woman's back. Spiritual power surged into the woman's body and suppressed her violent spiritual power fluctuation. After stopping the woman's crazy thoughts, Xiaochen and Lin Yun did not stop. Instead, they restrained the woman in the blink of an eye. At this point in the battle, the woman indeed did not have much power to resist. After being captured by Xiaochen and Lin Yun, the woman only said coldly, "Kill me if you want." Even though she had already been defeated and had become Xiaochen and Lin Yun's prisoner, the woman still looked fearless. Xiaochen did not care much about this. With the woman's hatred for the two of them, this was not strange. He brought the woman to a safe place. Facing Xiaochen and Lin Yun, the woman simply closed her eyes. She did not want to communicate with Xiaochen and Lin Yun at all. Looking at the woman's appearance, Xiaochen knew that even if he asked, there would probably not be any results. In this case, it was better to find the answer by himself. He grabbed the woman's arm and said indifferently, "Help me look after him." "Okay." With his eyes closed, Xiaochen controlled his spiritual power to enter the woman's body. Sensing this, the woman, who originally had her eyes closed, suddenly opened them at this moment and roared angrily. "What are you trying to do?" Xiaochen's action was obviously to investigate her secrets. This was definitely unacceptable to anyone. However, since the woman had already been defeated and had become their prisoner, who would care about this? Moreover, Xiaochen and Lin Yun were not people who would have tender feelings for the fairer sex. Therefore, after hearing the woman's angry roar, Xiaochen completely ignored her. Lin Yun directly injected a stream of spiritual energy into the woman's body and sealed her voice, making her unable to speak again. Unable to make a sound or move, the woman could only look at Xiaochen and Lin Yun hatefully, but she couldn't do anything. On the other side, as Xiaochen probed the woman's body, Xiaochen's heart was in turmoil. How is this possible? Under such circumstances, there were almost no secrets that women could keep from Xiaochen. And the first thing Xiaochen noticed was the woman's age. One had to know that as a war ancestor realm king, although she looked like a young girl, in reality, she was most likely someone who had lived for at least 1,000 years. After all, even if Xiaochen and Lin Yun were so heaven-defying, when they broke through to the war ancestor realm, they were still more than 500 years old. Cultivating to the war ancestor realm in 500 years was already an extremely heaven-defying thing. But this woman, judging from her bone age, she was actually less than 300 years old. A 300-year-old war ancestor realm king, what kind of concept was that? At least Xiaochen and Lin Yun had never seen such a person. To be honest, Xiao Yao, Xiao Lao and the others were not much younger than the woman in front of them. But now, what kind of cultivation were they? The gap was simply too big. How did this woman cultivate? At first, he was shocked, but soon Xiaochen found the answer. It was the woman's bloodline power. It was too rich, too heaven-defying, too terrifying. After living for so many years and being a war ancestor realm king, Xiaochen dared to say that he had seen a lot of bloodline power. But he had never seen any bloodline power that could be compared to the woman in front of him. What a terrifying bloodline power. Moreover, after a careful investigation, Xiaochen finally solved the doubts in his heart. He also found the answer to the inexplicable sense of familiarity from before. However, even so, the doubts in Xiaochen's heart grew even greater, because this was simply impossible. He retracted his hand and slowly opened his eyes, exhaling a mouthful of turbid air. Seeing this, Lin Yun asked curiously, "How is it? Did you get anything?" Lin Yun had always felt that it was a little strange. Why didn't Xiaochen kill this woman? Why was he so curious about her? Xiaochen's actions, in Lin Yun's opinion, were definitely not without reason. Facing Lin Yun's question, Xiaochen slowly said, "Guess how old this woman is this year?" War Ancestor Realm King, she's at least 500 years old. She just turned 300 today. When Xiaochen said this, even Lin Yun was slightly stunned. A 300-year-old War Ancestor Realm King, how heaven-defying was her talent? Involuntarily looking at the woman whose face was still filled with anger, Lin Yun said somewhat gloomily, "I'm sure I'm not mistaken. Bone age doesn't lie. But how is this possible? A 300-year-old War Ancestor Realm King. Bloodline power. The reason why this woman was able to possess a War Ancestor Realm cultivation at such a young age was because of her bloodline power. Without the support of such a powerful bloodline power, it was impossible to do this." Although Lin Yun was surprised, she still nodded. After all, this was the only explanation. But what kind of bloodline power could do such a terrifying thing? "Oh right, didn't you ask me why I was so curious about this woman? Actually, from the moment she appeared, I felt that her bloodline power was very familiar, as if I had come into contact with it somewhere before. That's why I kept her," Xiaochen said bluntly. Hearing this, Lin Yun nodded slightly. "What about now? Do you have an answer?" "Yes, her bloodline power is very close to the Feng people." "Feng people?" Hearing this, Lin Yun was stunned again. This woman's bloodline power was similar to the Feng people? This was impossible. Could it be that this woman was a clansman of the Feng people? And then she was trapped in the underground abyss? But that wasn't right either. A person who broke through the War Ancestor realm at the age of 300 was definitely considered a peerless genius among the Feng people. With the Feng people's personality, they definitely wouldn't give up on her. Not to mention anything else, the Feng people absolutely valued their own disciples and were extremely protective of them. This was also the reason why even if you were a king, you wouldn't dare to attack the disciples of the Feng people. There was no reason for the Feng people not to rescue a disciple of the Heaven sect who was trapped in the underground abyss. The doubts grew bigger and bigger. Looking at Lin Yun's face full of doubts, Xiaochen was also the same. However, I've checked carefully. Although it's very similar to the Feng people, it's not the bloodline power of the Feng people. This woman isn't a disciple of the Feng people, but she, or rather her race, should be related to the Feng people. Otherwise, it's impossible to have such a close bloodline power. Yes, that's right. It seems that this underground abyss is not simple. Have we been tricked by Tian Tai? I guess so. This guy probably knows something, but he didn't tell us. Please collect, vote, recommend. Chapter 3301. At this point, Xiaochen and Lin Yun were naturally certain that the Earth Abyss Evil Cave was definitely not as simple as it seemed on the surface. At least, it was not as simple as Tiantai said. He definitely knew some secrets but did not tell the two of them. In an instant, Xiaoqin and Lin Yun realized that they had been used by Tiantai. Although Tiantai did not have any intention of harming the two of them and everything might just be for revenge against the Feng people, Xiaoqin and Lin Yun were still very displeased at this moment. Nonsense, anyone would be displeased to be used like this. However, it was not the time to think about these things now. They had to wait until they got out of the Earth Abyss Evil Cave. Moreover, what exactly did Tiantai want to use the two of them for? What was the purpose of the Earth Abyss Evil Cave? The most direct way to understand all of this was naturally to find out from the mouth of the woman in front of them. She gave Lin Yun a look and instantly understood what Xiaoqin meant. Lin Yun removed the seal on the woman so that she could speak freely. As soon as she spoke, the woman naturally cursed without hesitation. "Kill me if you want. We have no intention of killing you. We didn't enter the Earth Abyss Evil Cave to kill people." Xiaoqin was not surprised by this at all, so he asked plainly. Hearing this, the woman fell silent and looked at Xiaoqin and Lin Yun suspiciously. After a while, she spoke slowly. "Humph, who are you lying to? If we were lying to you, would you still be alive to speak here? Actually, you don't have to do this at all. We just have some doubts in our hearts and want to ask you." Under Xiaoqin's words, the woman gradually calmed down and was no longer as angry as before. Looking at the woman, Xiaoqin and Lin Yun also felt a little helpless. This woman was powerful, and most importantly, she was extremely talented. However, she was very inexperienced. It was as if she had not experienced any hardships and could easily trust others, just like now, with just a few words, the woman almost believed Xiaoqin and Lin Yun. This was indeed a little hasty. However, this was naturally good news for Xiaoqin and Lin Yun, so the two of them did not say much. After a moment of silence, the woman finally spoke. "All right, I'll believe you for now." He was so naive that he believed her just like that. Then, in order to show his sincerity, Xiaoqin released the seal on the woman's body and allowed her to recover her cultivation. The three of them found a safe place and sat down cross-legged. Xiaoqin and Lin Yun began to ask about the Earth Abyss Evil Cave. However, the woman knew very little about the underground abyss. She was born in the underground abyss and had never been to the outside world. However, he had heard from his parents that the outside world was very dangerous, especially the people outside. Each and every one of them was treacherous and cunning, so he should never have any dealings with them. It was precisely because of this influence from a young age that the woman hated Xiaoqin so much. After all, according to what his parents had told him, the humans in the outside world were all bad people who would harm her. "It's precisely because of this that I attacked you directly when I saw you. Moreover, I saw you kill some of my own kind before, so I thought you were bad people. I'm sorry." The woman actually took the initiative to apologize. This made Xiaoqin and Lin Yun involuntarily laugh bitterly. With continuous contact, the two of them had basically figured out this woman's character. To put it simply, this woman had absolutely heaven-defying talent, but her character was like a little girl who did not know the ways of the world. She was like a lady from a wealthy family who had lived in a deep house since she was young. She was pure and had a certain talkative attribute. Now, Xiaoqin basically did not need to say anything. This woman directly said everything, which indeed saved Xiaoqin a lot of trouble. After listening to the woman say a lot of things, Xiaoqin asked casually. "By the way, after the two of us came in, we encountered some monsters without spiritual intelligence. What are those things?" There were two types of life in the abyss of the evil cave. One type was like the woman, who had spiritual intelligence, and the other type was without spiritual intelligence. Hearing this, the woman replied straightforwardly. "Them? Those monsters without spiritual intelligence are called Cyan, but I don't know how they came about. These Cyan indeed have no spiritual intelligence. Not only did they kill their own kind, but they also attacked us from time to time. It's really annoying." "Cyan?" Hearing this, Xiaoqin fell silent. In other words, the Cyan and the woman's race did not have much to do with each other. Just as Xiaochen was silent, the woman took the initiative to speak. Also, my name is Huang Lin. I have a name. After talking to Xiaochen and Lin Yun, Huang Lin gradually let down her guard against the two of them. She even took the initiative to tell them her name. Hearing this, Xiaochen smiled and introduced the two of them. The last question, which was also the question that Xiaochen was most concerned about, was Huang Lin's bloodline. Huang Lin, do you know about the Feng people? Huang Lin's bloodline was too similar to the Feng people's. Although it was different, it gave people a sense of compatibility. Instinctively, Xiaochen felt that Huang Lin and the Feng people should be related somehow. However, after hearing this, Huang Lin asked curiously. Feng people? I've never heard of them. What are they? Are they also a race? Are they from the outside world? Perhaps because Huang Lin had never been in contact with the outside world, she was extremely interested in the outside world. After getting familiar with Xiaochen and Lin Yun, Huang Lin asked them curiously. That's strange. Oh yes, Huang Lin, what is the name of your race? Us? It's called the Phoenix race. Phoenix? After hearing this, Xiaochen was even more puzzled. What kind of secret was hidden in the Earth Abyss Evil Cave? He wanted to find the answer, but it was a pity that Huang Lin did not know anything. She had lived in the Earth Abyss Evil Cave since she was young and she had never heard of many secrets. It seemed that they could only ask Huang Lin's parents if they wanted to know the secret. However, Huang Lin was a warlord at the warlord realm. How powerful were her parents? Were they sovereigns? For a moment, Xiaochen hesitated. After all, he could see that Phoenix was not friendly to outsiders. Would it be dangerous to go there rashly? However, if they did not go, what could they do in the Earth Abyss Evil Cave? The Earth Abyss Evil Cave was completely different from what they had imagined. No matter if they wanted to break through to the sovereigns or to understand the secret, they could not avoid coming into contact with Phoenix. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. Chapter 3302. Xiaochen and Lin Yun only knew some superficial information from Huang Lin. Their real questions were not answered. If they wanted to know the answer, they would have to go to Phoenix. According to Huang Lin, the entire Earth Abyss was Phoenix's territory. Phoenix had no natural enemies here. It would not be difficult for Phoenix to deal with the so-called Qin clan. However, the Qin clan seemed to be endless. Under normal circumstances, Phoenix could not be bothered to deal with them. Seeing that Xiaochen and Lin Yun were deep in thought, Huang Lin asked curiously. What's wrong? Why aren't you talking? With Huang Lin's naivety, she naturally could not guess what Xiaochen and Lin Yun were thinking about. Xiaochen thought about it and smiled. Huang Lin, both of us are not familiar with the Earth Abyss at all. What do you think will happen if we are caught by Phoenix? Well, if it was in the past, we would definitely be killed. Phoenix naturally did not have any good feelings towards outsiders. Hence, once they met them, they would kill them directly. In the past 100 years, there would be outsiders who entered from time to time. Once they were met by Phoenix, they would be killed immediately. At this point, Huang Lin paused for a while and revealed a proud smile. However, we are friends now. So, don't worry. Even if Phoenix meets you, I can protect you. Hearing this, Xiaochen paused for a moment and then asked. Will Phoenix listen to you? Of course. My father is the patriarch of Phoenix. They won't dare to not listen to me. Oh my God, Xiaochen had long realized that Huang Lin's identity was not simple. Otherwise, she would not have such a pure and powerful bloodline power. However, he did not expect her to be the daughter of the patriarch of Phoenix. Although he did not know much about Phoenix, Xiaochen could guess that the daughter was a warlord of the warlord realm. As the patriarch, her father had to be at least an emperor. Moreover, everyone knew that there was a ruler in the underground abyss. It seemed that the ruler was probably the little girl's father. However, he did not know how many emperors there were in Phoenix. However, after knowing Huang Lin's identity, Xiaochen suddenly had a bold idea. That was to go to Phoenix. With the girl around, they should be able to ensure their safety. However, it was hard to say. Looking at Xiaochen's constantly changing expression, Lin Yan seemed to have guessed something and asked in disbelief. Don't tell me that. He didn't say it explicitly, but the meaning was clear. Xiaochen nodded and said, that's right. Whether it's to break through to the Emperor realm or for other reasons, I'm afraid we have to go to Phoenix. Xiaochen thought that unless the two of them left the Earth Abyss now, they would definitely have to come into contact with Phoenix. Now that they knew Huang Lin, to be honest, the situation was much better. Hearing Xiaochen's answer, Lin Yan was a little speechless. This was definitely an extremely crazy idea. If they were not careful, they might die. However, Lin Yan did not know how to refute Xiaochen. After all, the two of them had already come this far. It was absolutely impossible to give up now. After thinking for a while, Lin Yan turned to look at Huang Lin and said, Huang Lin, are you sure that the people of Phoenix will listen to you? Of course, don't worry. With me around, you'll be fine. Huang Lin nodded in agreement. Seeing this, Lin Yan sighed helplessly and did not say anything more. Xiaochen took over the topic. Huang Lin, to be honest, we came to the Earth Abyss to break through to the next realm. Therefore, we might have to make a trip to Phoenix and perhaps meet your father. Xiaochen did not want to lie to Huang Lin. Of course, he could not lie to her either. For such a simple person, if you got along well with her, she would return the favor 100 times over. However, if you wanted to deceive or even use her, you might succeed for a while. However, once you were discovered by the other party, the outcome would definitely not be good. Therefore, Xiaochen bluntly stated his purpose. Huang Lin's reaction was the same as Xiaochen's. She did not think much about it and immediately nodded in agreement. Alright, then let's go back now. Don't worry, with me around, you won't be in danger. Saying this, Huang Lin happily brought Xiaochen and Lin Yan back to Phoenix. Just as Xiaochen and the rest were heading to Phoenix, on the other side, the Feng people. At this moment, in a small world that was listed as a forbidden area, the Feng people were in a small world. The reason why it was called a forbidden area was because it was the place where the two patriarchs of the Feng people were in seclusion. At this moment, a man and a woman were sitting opposite each other. The two of them were the patriarchs of the Feng people and they were at the level of emperors. The old woman of the two looked at the old man opposite her and said with a calm expression, "Have you heard about what happened outside?" "Of course I have." Initially, there were only two warlord realm sovereigns. However, now that the Earth Abyss is involved, it's a little troublesome. Do you think those guys will enter the Earth Abyss? Old O was a little worried. Those juniors in the clan would enter the Earth Abyss without knowing anything. That would be troublesome. However, the old man was extremely confident in his words. They won't. They won't dare to go against their ancestors' teachings. In the Feng people's ancestors' teachings, the first rule was that the disciples of the Feng people were not allowed to enter the Earth Abyss under any circumstances. Although almost all the disciples of the Feng people did not know why they were not allowed to enter the Earth Abyss, they did not dare to go against their ancestors' teachings. This was because the Feng people's ancestors' teachings were very strict. Once they violated it, their cultivation would be crippled and they would be expelled from the clan. In the worst case, they would die. This was not tolerated at all. Hearing the old man's words, Old O nodded slightly. Then, a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. It's Tiantai again. He really thinks that the Feng people will not dare to do anything to him. In my opinion, we should not have cared about the palace of the Star Lord back then. We should have killed him directly. Then, there wouldn't have been so much trouble. Speaking of Tiantai, Old O was obviously filled with murderous intent. Moreover, he did not seem to be worried about the punishment from the palace of the Star Lord. Hearing those words, the old man shook his head and said, "The palace of the Star-Lord should be more careful. We still have to be careful with the Star-Lord Hall. After all, there are some things that can only be used once. You don't really think that person will still care about old friendships, do you? I know that. However, I don't understand why he would treat the phone people like that. He's simply an ungrateful wretch. Be careful with your words." Hearing those words, the old man immediately interrupted. These words could not be spoken carelessly. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. Chapter 3303. It was a serious matter to talk about the Star-Lord behind his back. Even though the two of them were the Laozu of the phone people, they could not say such things. After being reprimanded by the old man, the old lady kept quiet. Indeed, although the phone people were powerful, they could not be compared to the Hall of the Star-Lord. Moreover, for so many years, the reason why the phone people could be so unscrupulous and overbearing without any signs of decline was closely related to the Hall of the Star-Lord. Let's not get involved in the matters of the Phoenix people. Let's just wait outside. At last, the old man said, and the two of them fell into silence. The two Laozu of the phone people definitely knew the secret of the Earth Abyss Evil Denver. However, they were wary of it. The phone people did not dare to enter the Earth Abyss Evil Den. Inside the Earth Abyss Evil Den, Xiaochen and Lin Yun were led by Huang Lin to the core of the Earth Abyss Evil Denver. Along the way, they saw many Cyans wandering around the Earth Abyss Evil Denver. At the same time, Xiaochen also saw some martial artists from the Phoenix people. When they saw Xiaochen and Lin Yun, their attitude was very bad. Without saying a word, they were ready to take action. However, without exception, they were all reprimanded by Huang Lin in the end. Just like what Huang Lin had said, she had a high status in the Phoenix people. She was like the little princess of the Phoenix people. In the face of Huang Lin's obstruction, although the martial artists from the Phoenix people were unhappy and unwilling, they had no choice but to obey. With Huang Lin protecting Xiaochen and Lin Yun, no one else could lay a hand on them. How is it? I didn't lie to you, right? Don't worry, with me around, you will be fine. Along the way, Huang Lin said proudly. She was like a child who had done something and was showing off to the adults, wanting to be praised. Hearing this, Xiaochen smiled bitterly and nodded. Huang Lin, not bad. We have underestimated you. I told you so. Seeing that Huang Lin's position in Phoenix was so high, Xiaochen relaxed a little. After all, the more effective Huang Lin's words were, the safer they would be. Of course, the most important factor was the attitude of Huang Lin's parents. As long as Huang Lin's parents did not intend to kill Xiaochen and Lin Yun, then Xiaochen and Lin Yun would not have to worry about their own safety. Obviously, all of this would have to wait until they reached the Phoenix tribe. The area of the Earth Abyss Evil Cavern was not large, so it did not take long for Xiaochen and the others to arrive at Phoenix's location. It was a city that didn't look very big, but it was very simple. There was actually a city in the Abyss of Evil Cavern, and this was where the Phoenix clan was located. The people who lived here were all members of the Phoenix clan. According to Huang Lin, there were about 200,000 Phoenix clansmen living in the city. As they walked into the city, they could clearly feel that all the Phoenix clansmen were looking at them with unfriendly gazes. If it were not for Huang Lin, the Phoenix clansmen would have attacked them. Ignoring the murderous gazes, Xiaochen and Lin Yun walked towards the center of the city. After entering the city, Xiaochen and Lin Yun could clearly feel that there was spiritual energy in the city, which was different from the spiritual energy outside the city. Although it was not rich, at least it could not be compared to the outside world. This was the Abyss of Evil Cavern. It was not easy to have such spiritual energy. Moreover, although the spiritual energy was not much, it was enough to satisfy the needs of normal cultivation. Array. Lin Yun secretly sent a voice transmission to Xiaochen. That's right, all of this was due to the array. The entire city was enveloped by a huge ray. Perhaps it was a spirit-gathering array, but it should be of a very high grade. Hence, all the spiritual energy that could enter the abyss of Evil Cavern was gathered here. Xiaochen did not expect the Phoenix clan to have such a trick up their sleeves. In an instant, Xiaochen became more interested in the Phoenix clan. Xiaochen's intuition told him that the Phoenix clan was not simple. Just as Xiaochen and the other two were walking towards the center of the city, in a huge mansion in the center, Huang Lin's residence. In one of the gardens, a middle-aged man sat in a pavilion. Below him, an old man spoke with a complicated expression. "Young lady and the two outsiders have entered the city. Laozu, should we?" In the old man's opinion, Huang Lin was simply fooling around this time. She actually mixed with the outsiders and even brought them into the Phoenix clan. However, the middle-aged man did not mind and waved his hand. "Let them come in directly. There's no need to stop them." Unlike the other Phoenix clan members, the middle-aged man did not seem to have a deep hatred towards Xiaochen and Lin Yun. Hearing this, the old man wanted to say something but was interrupted by the middle-aged man. Seeing this, the old man had no choice but to nod his head and turn around to leave. With the middle-aged man's order, Xiaochen and the rest naturally entered the mansion without any obstructions. At this moment, Huang Lin said happily, "Xiaochen, Lin Yun, this is my home. How is it? Not bad, right?" "Yes, it's indeed not bad." Although this mansion was simply too ordinary to Xiaochen, seeing Huang Lin's happy expression, Xiaochen did not say anything. Just as the three of them were talking, the old man from before appeared and brought the three of them to the garden where the middle-aged man was. It was not clear why the middle-aged man wanted to see the two outsiders. In the old man's opinion, these outsiders should be killed immediately. Along the way to the backyard garden, Huang Lin saw the middle-aged man and ran forward happily. "Father! You crazy girl! You've been running around all day. What if you encounter any danger?" The middle-aged man looked at Huang Lin dotingly and scolded jokingly. It was obvious that the middle-aged man doted on Huang Lin very much. The father and daughter were lovey-dovey for a while before the middle-aged man looked at Xiaochen and Lin Yun. Under the middle-aged man's gaze, Xiaochen and Lin Yun's hearts tightened because this middle-aged man gave Xiaochen and Lin Yun a very strange feeling. It was not that they had never seen an emperor before, but the middle-aged man gave Xiaochen and Lin Yun a feeling that he had surpassed an emperor. But what kind of realm was beyond an emperor? A Star-Lord level existence. But it was impossible. There could only be one Star-Lord in a galaxy. Therefore, this middle-aged man could not possibly be a Star-Lord level existence. But if he was not a Star-Lord, what cultivation level was he? In any case, the middle-aged man gave off an extremely dangerous vibe to Xiaochen and Lu Xian. He was far more dangerous than other emperors and even Black Granny. Request collection, request monthly votes, request recommendation. Chapter 3304. Under the gaze of the middle-aged man, Xiaochen and Lin Yun were on their guard. In response, the middle-aged man suddenly smiled faintly. "Don't be nervous, Lin. Go and see your mother. She is worried sick about you." The middle-aged man turned around and said to Huang Lin. It was obvious that he wanted to send Huang Lin away. Huang Lin hesitated. "Father." Huang Lin naturally knew that Phoenix hated outsiders. She didn't want anything to happen to Xiaochen and Lin Yun. The middle-aged man smiled bitterly and shook his head. "You are a grown woman. Don't worry, I won't hurt them. Go and see your mother." Under her father's request and repeated guarantee, Huang Lin finally agreed. However, before she left, she repeatedly reminded her father not to hurt Xiaochen and Lin Yun. The middle-aged man said helplessly as he watched Huang Lin leave. "This girl is spoiled by her mother. Have a seat. My name is Huang Yi. Don't worry, I promised her that I won't hurt you." Huang Yi gestured for Xiaochen and Lin Yun to take a seat. Xiaochen and Lin Yun sat opposite Huang Yi. Huang Yi waved his hand and gestured for the old man to leave. Soon, only Huang Yi, Xiao Chen, and Lin Yun were left in the courtyard. Huang Yi said with a smile as he brewed a cup of tea for Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. It's not the same here as outside. Make do with it. Xiao Chen and Lin Yun looked at each other and Xiao Chen said doubtfully. Senior, have you been to the outside world? From Huang Yi's words, he seemed to know the outside world very well. In that case, he should have been to the outside world. However, could the people in the Earth Abyss Evil Cave leave the outside world? It shouldn't be possible. At least Huang Lin said that every time they approached the entrance, they would be repelled by a huge force. They couldn't leave this place at all. In that case, how did Huang Yi know about the outside world? Could it be? Xiao Chen's mind raced, but he soon guessed something. In response, Huang Yi said with a smile. You guessed right. I was not born here. I came from the outside world. There was only one possibility for Huang Yi to be so familiar with the outside world. He wasn't born in the Earth Abyss Evil Cave but came from the outside world. But there were more and more doubts in his heart. Seeing this, Huang Yi said calmly. Is it strange? To tell you the truth, this Earth Abyss Evil Cave is completely different from what we imagined. Moreover, the two of us can sense that there might be an enormous secret hidden within it. That's right. This underground abyss is indeed hiding a very deep secret. Actually, the two of you entered this Earth Abyss Evil Cavern to seek an opportunity to break through, right? After so many years, some outsiders have indeed entered the Earth Abyss Evil Cave to seek opportunities. Some people succeeded, but most of them were left here forever. Some of them were killed by Qing, but most of them were killed by me, Phoenix. He directly pointed out the purpose of Xiao Chen and Huang Yi's visit. There was only one reason for outsiders to enter the Earth Abyss Evil Cave, and that was to seek the possibility of breaking through to become a ruler. Xiao Chen did not hide this. After all, there was nothing to hide. Seeing Xiao Chen nod, Huang Yi said with a smile. I don't know why Lin values you so much, but since she likes you, I won't make things difficult for you. Tell me, why did you insist on coming here? What do you want to ask? Huang Yi went straight to the point. Xiao Chen did not beat around the bush and asked bluntly. Senior, to be honest, from the moment I saw Huang Lin, I had doubts in my heart. Huang Lin's bloodline power, he repeated the question that he had asked Huang Lin to Huang Yi. However, after hearing Xiao Chen's words, Huang Yi fell silent. He did not speak for a long time, and Xiao Chen and Lin Yun did not urge him. They just waited quietly at the side. After 10 minutes, Huang Yi asked in a low voice. Are you sure you want to know this? It's not good to know some things. Huang Yi's words were a warning. He could answer Xiao Chen's question, and he knew the answer. However, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun would not benefit much if they knew these secrets. In response, Xiao Chen nodded without much hesitation. Seeing this, Huang Yi smiled and said. Fine, since that's the case, I'll tell you. This place is called the Earth Abyss Evil Cave in the outside world, right? That's right. Ah, actually, this is just a small world that was opened up. Moreover, it's a sealed place that can even trap a sovereign. As for me, I was not born here. I came from the outside world. Senior, you're saying that you're sealed here and trapped here? That's right. Not only me, but the ancestors of Phoenix were also imprisoned here. Only juniors like Lin were born here. Therefore, she has never been to the outside world. The entire Phoenix was trapped here by someone? Why was this so? And who did this? Even a sovereign could be trapped here? Things seemed to be getting out of hand. However, Huang Yi did not seem to care about Xiao Chen's doubts and continued speaking. And Lin's bloodline power. You just said that Lin's bloodline power is very similar to that of the Feng people. It can even be said that they complement each other, right? That's right. That's why I'm so concerned. To be honest, I was forced to enter this place by the Feng people. Oh? You're very similar to the Feng people's character. You're still so unscrupulous. Hearing this, Huang Yi chuckled with interest. Actually, it's not difficult to explain. Your bloodline power is so similar. In fact, you should have guessed it yourself, but you're not sure. The reason why the bloodline power of Phoenix and the Feng people are so close is actually because our two races are of the same bloodline and complement each other. What? Hearing this, even Xiaochen could not remain calm. The Phoenix and the Feng people were of the same bloodline? How is this possible? In that case, the Phoenix was trapped here by the Feng people? But why did the Feng people do this? Seeing Xiaochen's shocked expression, Huang Yi seemed to have recalled something from the past and continued speaking. The Feng people and the Phoenix can be said to be the earliest races to be born in this galaxy. At the beginning of their birth, there was no distinction between the Feng people and the Phoenix. Instead, they were collectively called the Phoenixes. The Phoenix is Yin, and the Huang is Yang. The birth of the Phoenixes, Huang Yi, was like the creation of heaven and earth. Yin and Yang are compatible, and they were born with advantages that other races did not have. Huang Yi spoke slowly, and every word he said shocked Xiaochen and Lin Yun. Who would have thought that the Feng people and the Phoenix had such a relationship? Please collect, vote, recommend. Chapter 3305. Xiaochen did not expect that the Feng people and Phoenix were originally from the same bloodline. No wonder Huang Lin's bloodline power was so similar to the Feng people. This was not strange. Looking at Xiaochen and Lin Yun's shocked expressions, Huang Yi smiled bitterly and shook his head. This was something that happened a long time ago. Before that person appeared, the Feng people and Phoenix could be said to be living in harmony. After the shock, Xiaochen looked at Huang Yi again and asked. Senior, since Phoenix and the Feng people are of the same bloodline, why is Phoenix trapped here? Facing Xiaochen's question, Huang Yi did not hide anything and said bluntly. Do you know how the Star-Lord of the Fire Phoenix Galaxy was born? In response, Xiaochen and Lin Yun shook their heads. Although the two of them were both kings of the War Ancestor realm, they had never come into contact with a Star-Lord. Seeing this, Huang Yi replied unhurriedly. The Star-Lord of the Fire Phoenix Galaxy was born from Huang Yi's clan. Some were from the Feng people, and some were from the Phoenix. As the first clan born in the Fire Phoenix Galaxy, Huang Yi's clan naturally had a unique advantage, and this was also the origin of the Fire Phoenix Galaxy. Countless Star-Lords before, everyone lived in harmony because Huang Yi's clan had its own set of rules. If the Feng people became the Star-Lord, then the Feng people would become the main bloodline. If the Phoenix people became the Star-Lord, then the Phoenix people would become the main bloodline. It had been like this for countless years until the birth of the current Star-Lord. Everything changed. Back then, when competing for the new Star-Lord, the competition between the Phoenix people and the Feng people was extremely fierce. Although they were from the same clan, both sides did not give in to each other. In the end, it almost became a fratricide. They carried out assassinations, encirclement, and other methods to kill talented martial artists were endless. In the end, one of the Feng people successfully became the new Star-Lord with heaven-defying talent, and the Feng people naturally became the main bloodline of the Huang Yi's clan. Under normal circumstances, the battle between the Feng people and the Phoenix people should stop here. However, this time, the Phoenix clan did not do so. They chose to kill all of them. That's right, the Feng people violated the ancestral rules of the Huang Yi clan. With the support of the Star-Lord, they crazily suppressed the Phoenix people. More than half of the strong people of the Phoenix people were killed by the Feng people. In the end, the lucky survivors of the Phoenix people were sealed by the Star-Lord and trapped in the so-called Abyss Evil Cave. The Abyss Evil Cave was a small world that the Star-Lord personally created to trap the Phoenix people. Perhaps because they were from the same clan, the Star-Lord did not kill the Phoenix people. Speaking of this, Huang Yi's tone became a little gloomy. They were originally from the same clan, but in the end, the Phoenix people actually ended up like this. Even Xiaochen and Lin Yun did not know what to say after hearing this. The Huangyi clan actually had such a bloody battle. Moreover, the Star-Lord was actually the person behind all of this. He was the one who trapped the Phoenix people here for so many years. Almost no one in the outside world knew about the existence of the Phoenix people. After explaining everything to Xiaochen and the others, Huangyi let out a sigh of relief and then smiled helplessly. "That's all you want to know." He answered all of Xiaochen and Lin Yun's questions. In response, Xiaochen looked at Huangyi with a complicated gaze. Suddenly, a somewhat crazy guess appeared in his heart. "Senior, do you know Tian Tai?" The two of them entered the Abyss Evil Cave because of Tian Tai. It was Tian Tai who took the initiative to recommend Xiaochen and Lin Yun to the Abyss Evil Cave. Now that Huangyi had told them everything, Xiaochen felt that there must be some secret behind this. This secret was probably planned by Tian Tai and Huangyi a long time ago, and Xiaochen and Lin Yun were just executors. Hearing Xiaochen's words, Huangyi smiled, but this smile looked a little strange. "Yes, it seems that you've already guessed it. It's not difficult to guess. Senior, you've said so much. It's impossible that you don't have any requests, right? What do we need to do? It's very simple. Break the seal and let Phoenix leave this place." Back then, Tian Tai had entered the Abyss Evil Cave and met Huangyi. It was precisely because of Phoenix's help that Tian Tai was able to break through to become a ruler. Nevertheless, at that time, Tian Tai was unable to break the seal of the Abyss Evil Cave. Therefore, he made a deal with Huangyi, and that was to do everything he could to help Phoenix escape. Huangyi also agreed. As for Xiaochen and Lin Yun, they were the key to breaking the seal. They had been used. This was Tian Tai's real goal. Thinking about it, once Phoenix escaped, the situation in the central region and even the entire Fire Phoenix galaxy would change. This would definitely be an unprecedented shock. Moreover, these matters were actually related to the Star-Lord, which made things even more complicated. Nevertheless, at this point, Xiaochen and Lin Yun seemed to have no right to choose. Looking at Huangyi in front of him, Xiaochen took a sip of tea and was somewhat speechless. "We don't have the right to choose, right? Yes, I, Phoenix, have been trapped here for so many years. I've been looking for a way to get out all the time, and the two of you are our hope. In exchange, I can use the power of the entire Phoenix to help you break through to become rulers. Besides, don't you already have a grudge with the Feng people? If Phoenix leaves, you can deal with the Feng people. This isn't a bad thing for you." Huangyi stated his conditions. Regarding this, Xiaochen was somewhat speechless. "Senior, does Phoenix have the ability to deal with Star-Lord?" Huangyi wanted to deal with the Feng people, and Star-Lord came from the Feng people. Did Phoenix have the ability to deal with Star-Lord? Hearing this, Huangyi smiled and did not say anything. There were some things that Xiaochen and Lin Yun did not know, and there was no need for them to know. Back then, Star-Lord had personally dealt with Phoenix. There must have been a strong request from the Feng people. By making such a decision, Star-Lord had completely severed his relationship with the Feng people. Ever since he sealed Phoenix, Star-Lord was no longer a member of the Feng people. It was precisely because of this that the Feng people had almost no development for so many years. This was because Star-Lord had not given the Feng people any help at all. Besides, the birth of Phoenix did not necessarily mean that they had to fight to the death with the Feng people. After being trapped here for so many years, in Huangyi's heart, the hatred from the past had almost been wiped out. The reason why he wanted to leave this place was that he wanted to fight for a future for Phoenix. After all, Phoenix had no future in the Earth Abyss's evil cave. If this continued, the entire Phoenix would probably completely perish here. That was why Huangyi had tried his best to leave. It wasn't because he wanted to take revenge. Please add it to your collection, monthly vote, recommend it. Chapter 3306. After hearing Huangyi's words, Xiaochen and Lin Yun fell silent. Helping Phoenix leave was not a small matter. After all, it involved Star-Lord. Moreover, back then, Phoenix was trapped here by Star-Lord himself. If Xiaochen and Lin Yun released Phoenix, what would Star-Lord think? Indeed, the conditions offered by Huang Yi were very generous. Not to mention anything else, just breaking through to become a ruler was enough to attract people. But was this benefit so easy to obtain? After pondering for a while, Xiaochen finally asked curiously. Senior, if I may be so bold as to ask, your current cultivation base. Huang Yi gave Xiaochen a very strange feeling. He did not feel like an emperor, but he was even more terrifying than an emperor. Facing Xiaochen's question, Huang Yi did not hide anything and smiled faintly. I can be considered a half-step Star-Lord. I've surpassed the Emperor realm, but that's all I'll be in this lifetime. It's impossible for me to break through to become a Star-Lord. Half-step Star-Lord? Surpass the Emperor realm? He did not expect Huang Yi's cultivation base to be so high. No, it should be said that if it were not for the existence of the current Star-Lord, Huang Yi would have broken through to become a Star-Lord long ago. In response, Xiaochen continued to ask. Senior, you have such strength, but you still can't break the seal of this evil abyss. What can the two of us do? Compared to Huang Yi, Xiaochen and Lin Yun's cultivation bases were still too weak. Since even Huang Yi could not leave the evil abyss, what could Xiaochen and Lin Yun do? As if he had known that Xiaochen would ask this question, Huang Yi smiled indifferently. It's very simple. Bloodline power. The underground abyssal evil cavern exists only to trap us Phoenix. This is also why outsiders can enter the underground abyssal evil cavern at will, but Phoenix people can't leave. The seals here have no effect on you. Similarly, you can destroy them. Phoenix, on the other hand, can't do it. Even I can't do it. As long as our cultivation isn't at the level of Star-Lord, Phoenix can't break the seal of this underground abyss. Hey! Hearing this, Xiaochen nodded. So that's how it is. This time, Huang Yi didn't wait for Xiaochen's reply and continued. As for your worries, especially Star-Lord, you don't have to be like this. I've already said before that the current Star-Lord has nothing to do with the Feng people. Back then, when she dealt with Phoenix, she personally swore a heavenly oath in front of me that she would never interfere in the matters between the Feng people and Phoenix again. And she dealt with Phoenix in order to repay the Feng people's kindness of raising her. After all, she was born in the Feng people. Therefore, even if you let Phoenix go, Star-Lord won't have any hatred for the two of you. Huang Yi said confidently. What happened back then was definitely not as simple as it seemed on the surface. First of all, the strength of the two clans. As the first clan to be born in the Fire Phoenix galaxy, whether it was the Feng people or the Phoenix, could it be that their strength was only so little? Obviously, that was impossible. If that was the case, how could Huang Yi's clan be called the #1 clan in the Fire Phoenix galaxy? Before the great battle broke out back then, the number of emperors in Huang Yi's clan was definitely more than 20, and there were at least 50 kings of the War Ancestor realm. However, after the great battle back then, both sides went all out. Many powerhouses of the Feng people and Phoenix had fallen in that great battle. This was also the reason why Star-Lord directly intervened in the end. Because if the battle continued like this, whether it was the Feng people or the Phoenix, they would probably die directly. When Star-Lord made her move, the Feng people only had 2 ancestors left, and the Phoenix only had 1 emperor left, Huang Yi. It could be seen how tragic that battle was. At the end of the battle, Huang Yi and Star-Lord had a 4-way agreement. That was, Star-Lord would seal Phoenix and help the Feng people win. However, from then on, Star-Lord would no longer have anything to do with the Feng people, and it was impossible for him to join forces with the Feng people to target Phoenix. It was precisely because of such an agreement and the heavenly oath that Huang Yi was willing to be sealed. Otherwise, if a half-step Star-Lord went crazy, even if he could not defeat Star-Lord, he could definitely drag the entire Feng people down with him. In Huang Yi's heart, there was one thing that he did not tell Xiaochen, and that was that he was the one who competed with Star-Lord back then. It was just that at the last moment, Huang Yi was a little lacking and did not succeed. However, this definitely did not mean that Huang Yi was weak. In the entire Fire Phoenix galaxy, other than Star-Lord, Huang Yi was definitely the strongest person who would not give in. After hearing Huang Yi's words, Xiao Chen and Lin Yun did not make up their minds. After all, this matter was of great importance. Seeing this, Huang Yi did not force the two of them. He smiled slightly and said slowly, "There's no rush. The two of you can think about it. Tell me when you have an answer. I will fulfill my promise." In this regard, Xiao Chen could only nod in agreement. He indeed needed some time to make a decision. After the conversation ended, Huang Yi also arranged a residence for Xiao Chen and Lin Yun. The two of them went to rest. Only Huang Yi was left in the courtyard. At this moment, a token on his waist suddenly flickered with a faint white light. Then, Tian Tai's phantom appeared out of thin air. This was a formation plate that could be connected to each other. When Tian Tai appeared, he first bowed respectfully to Huang Yi, and then asked with some anticipation, "Ancestor, how is it? Did Xiao Chen and Lin Yun agree?" "Not yet. It's such a big matter. Naturally, it's impossible for them to agree so easily." In this regard, Huang Yi's mentality was very calm. He was not too disappointed. On the contrary, Tian Tai was a little disappointed. Looking at Tian Tai's appearance, Huang Yi opened his mouth but did not say anything. Then, Tian Tai's tone was a little cold. "Ancestor, this is our chance. As long as Phoenix can escape, we will definitely be able to kill the Feng people and take revenge." Huang Yi wanted revenge. When he spoke of the Feng people, the killing intent in his words could not be concealed at all. However, in this regard, Huang Yi sighed softly and said somewhat helplessly, "It's been so many years, Tian Tai. There are some things that you don't need to be so stubborn about." "No, ancestor. How can we not take revenge for the past? Could it be that ancestor has forgotten how many people from Phoenix died at the hands of the Feng people? If we don't destroy the Feng people, how can we face the ancestors of Phoenix?" The hatred in Tian Tai's heart was so deep that it was beyond anyone's imagination. Even Huang Yi could not persuade him. Looking at Tian Tai's eyes that were already filled with hatred, Huang Yi did not say anything in the end. After so many years, was the hatred from back then still important? Were the Feng people and the Phoenix people really going to perish together? Moreover, so many people from Phoenix had been killed back then, and almost all of them were exterminated. But weren't the Feng people the same? Request collection, request monthly votes, request recommendation. Chapter 3307. Looking at the hatred on Tian Tai's face, Huang Yi felt a little helpless. What happened back then had long passed. Moreover, Huang Yi was considering the destruction of Phoenix. If Phoenix still insisted on taking revenge, Huang Yi could say that the final result would be a lose-lose situation. This was something he did not want to see. Huang Yi looked indifferently at Tian Tai's illusory figure in front of him and said indifferently, "All right, let's not talk about this anymore." "Great ancestor," Tian Tai wanted to say something, but Huang Yi shouted coldly, "Don't be so stupid." "Enough." After being scolded by Huang Yi, Tian Tai tactfully shut his mouth. Then, his illusory figure slowly dissipated. To be honest, Tian Tai's background was a little complicated. He had the ordinary Phoenix bloodline in his body. Yes, Tian Tai could be considered a Phoenix, but he could not be. This was because his father was a Phoenix, but his mother was not. This was also the reason why Tian Tai was not affected when Phoenix and the Feng people fought back then. Even so, Tian Tai's father was still killed in that battle. After that, Tian Tai entered the Earth Abyss's evil cave. Huang Yi sensed the Phoenix bloodline in Tian Tai's body, which helped him break through to become a ruler and allowed him to leave the Earth Abyss's evil cave safely. In terms of talent, Tian Tai was indeed not bad. Unfortunately, the hatred in his heart was too deep. This was something that Huang Yi could not do anything about. He did not know that such hatred often needed to be paid with blood in the end. Moreover, this matter concerned the two races. To put it bluntly, this hatred could not be let go in the face of survival. If they continued to fight, what good would happen to Phoenix? The best outcome would be to exterminate the Phoenix race, but at the same time, the Phoenix race would also be annihilated. Was this really the result that everyone wanted to see? With a soft sigh, Huang Yi's figure slowly dissipated. No one knew where he went. While Xiao Chen and the others were meeting with Huang Yi, Elder Master Bai and the Star-Lord had returned from the northern region. Those ancient beasts were also successfully sealed by the Star-Lord. At this moment, in the Star-Lord's palace, Black Matron said bitterly to the two of them. Xiao Chen and Lin Yun went to the underground abyss. It was planned by Tian Tai. She definitely had to tell the Star-Lord about the Abyss Evil Cavern. Hearing Black Matron's words, Elder Master Bai frowned slightly and said with some dissatisfaction. Tian Tai? He doesn't know what's good for him. Could it be that he doesn't know about the Earth Abyss Evil Cavern? Obviously, Elder Master Bai was very dissatisfied when he heard about this, especially because Tian Tai actually deliberately planned for Xiao Chen and Lin Yun to enter the underground abyss. Black Matron and Elder Master Bai were very clear about the secret of the underground abyss. Moreover, Elder Master Bai was from the Feng people and Black Matron was from Phoenix. However, after they followed the Star-Lord, they had already cut off contact with Huang Yi's clan. At this moment, hearing Elder Master Bai's cold snort, Black Matron glanced at him indifferently and said unhurriedly. After so many years, Phoenix has already paid the price. You don't really want to put the entire Phoenix to death, do you? She was obviously dissatisfied with Elder Master Bai's attitude. In this regard, Elder Master Bai was about to refute, but he was interrupted by the Star-Lord first. Okay, let's take a look at the underground abyss first. I don't think Huang Yi is so stupid. Let's talk about the Azure Dragon Galaxy for now. The underground abyss and Phoenix were indeed troublesome, but compared to the Azure Dragon Galaxy, they were nothing in the eyes of the Star-Lord. After all, whether it was Phoenix or the Feng people, they were all Star-Lord's subordinates. Even Huang Yi, to put it bluntly, was just a defeated opponent. The Star-Lord was able to defeat Huang Yi back then, so he could do the same now. Moreover, with the Star-Lord's strength, he was not worried at all that Phoenix and the Feng people would turn the sky upside down. If they really provoked the Star-Lord's palace, the Feng people and Phoenix would probably be easily suppressed by the Star-Lord. Therefore, the matter between the two clans was not to the point that the Star-Lord was worried about for the time being. On the contrary, the Azure Dragon Galaxy was the real big problem now. If it was not handled well, it would become a disaster. Moreover, the Star-Lord also knew Huang Yi very well. He was not a stupid person. Hearing the Star-Lord's words, Black Matriarch and Elder Master Bai both stopped arguing. Elder Master Bai and I will go to the western region. Black Matriarch will continue to oversee the central region. Black Matriarch can make her own decisions about Phoenix and the Feng people. The decision was quickly made. Elder Master Bai and Star-Lord quickly set off for the northern region, while Black Matriarch was left behind to oversee the central region. In addition, the Star-Lord also gave Black Matriarch the right to make her own decisions, which was somewhat thought-provoking. On the way to the northern region, Elder Master Bai said hesitantly. Master, Black Matriarch is Phoenix. You gave her the right to make her own decisions. If she releases Phoenix, what should we do? Elder Master Bai's worries were not unreasonable, but the Star-Lord said indifferently. So what if she is released? It has been so many years. Do you really want Phoenix to be trapped in the so-called abyss of the abyss? As soon as he said this, Elder Master Bai was speechless. From his tone, it seemed that the Star-Lord also planned to release Phoenix. But what happened back then? When he thought of the battle back then, Elder Master Bai felt that Phoenix must not be released. As if he saw through Elder Master Bai's thoughts, the Star-Lord said indifferently. You know better than me how that battle broke out back then. If it weren't for some people in the phone people who thought that I had become the Star-Lord and wanted to destroy Phoenix in one fell swoop, that battle wouldn't have broken out. I have no intention of dealing with Phoenix, and I don't want to destroy Phoenix. Back then, I sealed Phoenix to end the relationship between the phone people and me. Now that so many years have passed, I have to let go of what should be let go. Also, instead of being wary of Phoenix, I think that the phone people should change. Over the years, haven't the phone people been a bit too much? At this point, the Star-Lord seemed to glance at Elder Masterby indifferently. Although there was a thick layer of spiritual power around him, making it impossible to see the Star-Lord's appearance, Elder Masterby's heart still tightened. Because the Star-Lord's next words made Elder Masterby break out in a cold sweat. Do you still remember what I said back then? After I became the Star-Lord, I was no longer the phone people, but the master of the Fire Phoenix Galaxy. In my eyes, there is no difference between the phone people and Phoenix. Over the years, the phone people took advantage of our relationship and did things that I didn't want to care about. I also didn't want to pursue the matter of you cleaning up after the phone people. However, the situation now is different. I hope that the phone people can restrain themselves. This is also the reason why I didn't keep you in the central region. Do you understand? Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. End of chapter. You're tuning into the Mythic Realms YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.